Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Rewind Unscripted. I had the commentary logo up there, but this time is not a commentary. We're going to do another trailer reaction stream. It's me, Cap Logan, and look, it's Jayson.
It's me.
My son, and Jayson and I a few months ago did this for theatrical Batman movies. And that was surprisingly kind of a hit for us. Yeah. And people seem to really enjoy it. We had a lot of fun making that, talking about those trailers, going back through the history of Batman movies.
Yeah.
Walking down memory lane.
Yeah.
And the top request for the next topic for those was, of course, Spider-Man movies, which are nearly tied now for number of theatrical releases with Batman. Spider-Man has caught up. Now, really? Batman started all the way back in 1989, and Spider-Man didn't get movies off the ground until 2002, not for a lack of trying, of course. There was nearly a James Cameron Spider-Man movie in the 90s, which had a really bizarre, kind of shocking script that at some point I should do a video on. Yeah, I've been wanting to do a series on unmade scripts. I've done a couple of kind of loose, off-the-cuff that talks about a couple of them, the Sam Hamm Batman scripts. I'd like to do that with more stuff, and that's one that maybe at some point, I can't remember if that was a full script or just a treatment, but that's one at some point I should talk about. But anyway, we had, every 3 years or so, there'd be a new Spider-Man movie. Yeah. And then the series kind of tanked with Spider-Man 3, and they're, critically, if nothing else. The movie actually performed okay. We always think of that as a big failure. I think it's just because people didn't like it. And then Raimi almost came back for a fourth movie. It was in pre-production. That ended up falling apart. They didn't end up making that, of course, as we all know. And it was 5 years. It was, I don't know if you're aware of how long it took for the reboot to happen. That was 2012.
2007 to 2012.
To 2012, yeah.
So that's, I don't know.
Like I said, 5 years.
Oh, okay, you said 5 years.
And at the time, I thought that was even too quick of a turnaround for a reboot, and that people would be hard-pressed to accept it. And I was right about that. That was a somewhat polarizing movie at the time. I think more people have maybe come around on it since then. But anyway, then, a couple years later, they actually rushed out Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then it was a very fast turnaround to get into the MCU with Spider-Man. And then we just started chucking them out. And if
that was 3 years.
Yeah. And then every couple of years, you got one of those. We've had 3 now, plus the Spider-Verse movies. And if you count, and we're not going to watch trailers for these, but if you count the Avengers movies that Spider-Man was in, we had like 7 theatrical Spider-Man appearances within the span of, 5 years? Something, I mean, it was like 5 or 6 years. It was preposterous just how much Spider-Man was in the theater for a while there. So we're going to look at just theatrical movies, including animated films, and in this case, there are a couple of those, unlike with Batman, because Spider-Verse got a sequel, and it will eventually, hopefully, still be a trilogy. But I'm sure that will eventually end up happening. Unfortunately, with the strikes, that has been put now on indefinite hiatus. So that was supposed to come out early next year, and who knows when we'll get to see that now.
Yeah.
The sense is that it was not very far into production, probably. But anyway, we'll watch trailers for those, and we'll even tack on at the end the peripheral Sony villain verse without Spider-Man trailers.
Oh no! We'll do those two
for at least the movies that have come out already. So we won't watch the one for Craven, partly because it's mega violent. Not mega violent. You know, it's pretty violent. I only saw a Red Band trailer. I'm not even sure if there's a regular one. And partly because that movie's not out yet, and we're doing kind of more retro stuff with this, I guess, now series of trailer. And by retro, I guess I just mean movies that are out, that have been out,
that have come out. Yeah.
I saw when I was looking at trailers, and I haven't watched any of these today. The whole point of this is again going back through memory lane and revisiting these for the first time in a long time. So we're intentionally unprepared. I am prepared enough to have the links up, but I have not watched the trailers more than the first couple seconds of them to make sure I was looking at the right trailer. But Jason, when I was pulling down the trailers for Venom and Morbius. There was a channel that had one of the Morbius trailers as a retro trailer, or it was, I can't remember if it was retro or vintage. One of those words was used, and I was like,
vintage is worse.
Yeah, I think it was retro, and I'm like, okay, so it's retro in the sense that it's out, it's happened,
right?
It's just this preposterous mentality that anything 5 seconds ago is no longer valid.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I hate that line of thinking. It just drives me nuts. 123 Rock Fan just put in a $4.99 super chat. So let me go ahead and read that before we start in. And we're gonna do these trailers chronologically when the movies actually came out, and then we're just gonna tack all the Venomverse movies on at the end.
All right.
He says, I remember really disliking the first trailer for Spider-Man. It looked way too MTV-ish for me, so I watched it for the first time on DVD and loved it. Yeah, and we're going to watch that first, so that's a wonderful segue. The initial teaser for the first Sam Raimi movie utilizes footage that is not in the movie. I think it's footage that was intended to be, at least some of it. But he's right, the way it's cut, like, it looks weirdly cheap, and the way it's cut looks kind of TV. It looks like a music video. It looks like it could have been part of the Chad Kroeger video. We need a hero to save us.
Yeah.
I got to get some singing right up front to tick off the people that don't like it when I sing in videos.
Right.
Okay, so are you ready to just jump right into this, Jason?
Yeah.
Now, I always do that. I always say jump right in and then I start talking again. Real quick, slightly more preamble before we get started, just to put things into historical context and to go back to my point from the beginning. So Jason and I were talking before we started streaming about this. A lot more of the Batman trailers were for movies that came out before you were born.
Yeah.
And in this case, only 3 of them?
3 of them came out before I was born, and they are the same, and it's like almost the same number of movies.
So you will remember being there for, of course, a lot more of these.
A lot more of these. I'll remember the trailer. And also, the Batman trailers, like, I didn't see the BVS trailer, because, 1, I was like 5, and 2, I didn't really care.
Yeah,
so,
and I wasn't actively showing you those because I wasn't going to let you watch it yet.
Yeah.
Because it looked kind of too rough for the age you were. And it was only a couple years ago that you even finally watched that.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
That was fun, though, to watch with you. Not just that movie, but that trailer when we did the trailer video.
Yeah.
I remember you going, wow, this is really boring.
Yeah.
Like, even the trailer you said was boring.
The trailer is really boring. That's when you know it's not going to be a very good movie.
So, of course, Amazing Spider-Man, you were only 2 years old when that came out.
Yeah.
But you may not even remember the trailer and seeing Amazing Spider-Man 2 because you would have only been 4 or 5 when that came out.
I do remember seeing Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I remember when the, like, Burger King toys came out, but...
Oh, I didn't even remember that they won the bid for that.
I don't know if it was Burger King or McDonald's. I'm pretty sure it was Burger King, though.
Weird.
But I don't remember.
Brandon Martin put in a $5 super chat. I'll read that as well. He says, I remember when the Spider-Man 3 trailer leaked. Sorry, I saw SM, and because of what was popular this year, my brain went to Super Mario. I remember when the Spider-Man 3 trailer leaked from comic... I remember in the future when Super Mario 3 came out. When the Spider-Man 3 trailer leaked from Comic-Con, the official trailer is very similar and is better than the movie. You know, it's been so long, I don't know if I saw that trailer when it leaked. And I didn't keep up quite as hard back then because I wasn't doing this stuff for a living.
Yeah.
That was 2007, so that was 2 years before I started the channel. But I certainly was keeping up with superhero movies, but I wasn't working that hard at looking at leaks and that kind of stuff on the internet. Okay, let's go ahead and get right into this, folks. We're going to watch the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trailer, the teaser. So this is the kind of infamous Twin Towers teaser. So, of course, this footage was taken out of the movie because 9/11 unfortunately happened before the movie came out. And this tells you how early they had a teaser for this. And I don't remember if the movie was pushed back because of that or if it still kept its date. Somebody can probably tell me. And again, I could have researched that, but we intentionally came in unprepared. So I don't actually remember that now. But I'll talk about some of my memories from seeing the trailers when this happened here in a bit after we watched this. When we did the Batman trailers, my audio was badly mixed, so apologies for that. Nobody complained about it, but maybe people didn't even realize that we were actually talking over those trailers a little bit. We will keep that to a minimum. We do want to watch them, but you might occasionally hear us respond to something in real time.
Yeah, being like, whoa.
Yeah, or make just like a real quick, point or couple word response. But anyway, hopefully you'll be able to hear us this time, and away we go.
You have no sound on the thing.
Oh, I'm glad you got that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Clint, shut her down.
Now, this stuff does look like footage that could have been made just for a trailer that's not even intended to ever be in the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was. Product placement in your commercial.
This looks like an M&M's commercial.
Now remember, this is 2002, so you have to kind of compare it to the kind of effects that were happening and things then. It's fun to reveal Spider-Man this way. You get just your webbings first, and consider you're in the theater and you don't know what you're watching yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost looks like a Schumacher Batman movie until you get outside. And this between the towers, because we're making a big deal out of New York. Hopefully some of this incidental music doesn't get our video blocked. And that's the logo they stuck with.
Yeah.
That music is kind of generic and was nowhere in the movie.
Yeah.
Tom, $10 super chat. Let me read this real quick. Word of caution: are you sure it's the real Morbius trailer, not a retro recut? Because that's a thing some people have done for things. Don't want a Dark Phoenix repeat. Great show, guys. We'll know very quickly if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Anyway, thanks, Tom. AMC, I feel like this looks significantly more 90s than any of the actual Raimi movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And what little footage you get at the end, like with, you know, kind of the money shot of Spider-Man shooting his web and jumping off, does not look like it even matches the rest of the footage that you see.
No, it doesn't. And it actually does look pretty good. Like, looking back at it, like, I remember when I first, like, I hadn't seen O2 in a while, like a couple years ago, and I watched it again, and I was like, man, this does not look good. And then, yeah, it looks good for the time.
I think a lot of that holds up.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that there's more stuff in 2 that doesn't, only because some of that action was so ambitious that some of the stuff that they're doing in like 100% CGI looks a little rubbery, and you're having to shoot real far off and hope that your faces don't look silly and cartoony. Yeah. Some of the same problems that the early Harry Potter movies had.
Yeah.
I got to be surprised by that teaser in the theater. And I can't tell you what movie I went to see, but I was seeing movies quite a bit at that point, and I started working in a movie theater actually the year that came out. I was not working there yet when that was released, but shortly thereafter. And so I saw Daredevil in the theater, and I saw X2 in the theater while I was working there. But I don't know what movie I was seeing when I saw that teaser. But obviously, as soon as the helicopter gets grabbed, I've got a pretty good idea of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
That is a real classic old-fashioned teaser. I mean, it's a teaser in the kind of... in like the biblical sense, the dictionary definition of the word, where you don't see very much. I mean, it's just promising you what that movie ought to be, which is there's going to be web spinning. Yep. He's going to do other cool things with the webbing. Yep. He's going to be powerful enough to grab a helicopter with his webbing out of the air. Mm-hmm. It's set in New York City, and you do actually get a glimpse of their costume so that you know that it's not exactly straight off the page. Like, right away, you can start to get a sense of the artistic direction of the movie. Yeah. So you can go, oh, okay, it's raised webbing. It's going to look a little bit different. You don't know just from that yet that you're going to have, you know, organic webbing. You don't know that Green Goblin is going to have that dumb Power Rangers mask and that he'll be scarier without it on. You know, any of that stuff. If you think a comment is funny, feel free to read it.
Yeah. No. I was laughing at the Green Goblin thing.
I want to go ahead and watch the first full-fledged trailer for this as well. We're not going to do this with everything. Most of these we're just going to watch one teaser or trailer, but I thought we'd make an exception for the first Raimi movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Who am I? You sure you want to know? If somebody told you I was just your average, ordinary guy, not a care in the world,
Okay, I gotta stop for a second. Do you hear that music at the beginning of this teaser?
Yeah.
That's not from this movie. There is stuff in the Elfman score that sounds a little similar to that, but let's listen to it again.
Who am I? You sure you want to know?
If that's not from The Matrix, it sure sounds like it.
Care in the world? Somebody lied.
Not the rest of this, just the beginning of that.
Truth is, it wasn't always like this. There was a time when life was a lot less complicated. Can I take your picture for the school paper? Sure.
This sounds like it could have been in The Matrix, but is not.
Genetically enhanced super spiders.
That is not the line reading that's in the movie.
Nope.
That's... I don't even think the same actress's voice.
Hey there, are you alright?
Gotta get the glasses thing. Gotta get the shirt off shot for the ladies. Gotta make sure that he looks sufficiently nerdy.
Wow.
Gotta make it look like a high school thing.
Yep.
Peter, may I introduce my father-in-law, Marco?
Great honor to meet you, sir.
Harry tells me you're quite the science whiz.
We're getting all the major elements in here.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
I don't know if you know this, but that is the secret of the ooze.
Yeah.
Just a real brief glimpse of the costume, so I don't know if they're intentionally hiding it from us.
Whatever it is, somebody asked.
Because we're not getting close-ups of the mask for Green Goblin.
This is my gift. It is my curse.
That's also not a line reading in the movie.
I'm Spider-Man.
Do I get to say thank you this time?
This music is all over the place. They don't have the score yet. They don't have any of it.
Any of it.
If I'm right about the Matrix, I don't even know how they got that, because that's Warner Brothers.
Right.
Well, they're going to lose all the suspense of that scene when you see
Yeah.
it. No, we're seeing quite a bit of Green Goblin here. Those are shots from the final scene of the movie.
You're not Superman, you know.
That movie was sold real hard on that line, you're not Superman, you know? Which I think was kind of smart for that time because so few superhero movies had been made at that point.
Yeah.
I think it's really easy to forget just how relatively new the genre was. Now, at the time, it kind of felt like we'd had a bunch of these because you had action movies that were very much inspired by the few like major superhero movies we'd had. There were a lot of kind of minor and B superhero things. And I made this point before, but I remember sitting in the theater watching that movie and simultaneously thinking, this is just a standard, like, it's fun, I like it, but this is a very by-the-numbers, formulaic superhero movie. This is what they're all like. And then I thought, wait a minute, we haven't established this formula yet. This is what they're all gonna be like.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, I had that thought in the theater where I was like, almost like this weird premonition thing. And I don't mean to act like I had some kind of sixth sense or something,
Yeah.
but it felt like a roadmap that that I felt like I'd seen it before. And in some ways I had. Like, there is certainly some, like Batman and Superman in that movie.
Yeah.
But it really became the roadmap for Marvel and a lot of other things that would happen down the road.
Yeah.
So we are going to rank these trailers like we did
Oh, yeah, I
with
forgot we did
Batman.
that.
Yeah, and it may be kind of weird to rank the teaser for this. What did we do last time? Did we rank the
No.
teasers along with the trailers, or did we
didn't.
just kind of lump them together?
I think we just kind of.
I honestly can't remember how we did it.
Movies. So we did like both of them. Like.
I don't remember what we did, but I guess we'll go ahead and just list them all out for now.
Okay.
If that's cool.
Yeah.
But what did you think of that trailer as marketing, as a way to sell the movie?
I thought it showed too much of the movie. Honestly, I actually. Are we doing both of them?
Yeah, let's do both of them.
All right. Wait, you said Spider-Man 2 trailer.
Is that a? Sorry, I got it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, is that a? Is that a better teaser than a trailer?
Yeah, it's a better teaser than trailer.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're putting the teaser over it?
I am.
Okay. I think I'm going to do the same thing, even though I agree with the commenter that said that teaser looks like an MTV video.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think either of them are like the best by today's standards. But I also wasn't born yet, so I am not familiar with a lot of like how those trailers were made back in the 2000s.
Yeah. Well, it's ultra contemporary. It's very, very dated, and in its way, the movie is too. Although, certainly less so than some other things. Like the way the high school kids behave and everything feels like more of a product of another time. A lot of people talk about this with particularly that first Raimi movie, where he's trying to harken back to a simpler time, even from then, you know, and make it feel as much like the 60s comics as he can, while still making it updated and contemporary enough. But it doesn't have a lot of, like, it's not dated in the same way something like Daredevil or Ghost Rider is. It doesn't have a ton of incidental music.
Yeah.
Even though people remember the Chad Kroeger song and all of that, that's not actually inside the movie.
Yeah.
And so there aren't a lot of references to pop culture things that are happening then. Like, it's oddly timeless.
Yeah.
For still, in some ways, looking like a movie made then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the teaser weirdly is actually more indicative, even though the footage that's not in the movie is not shot or edited, certainly not edited the same way as the rest of the movie. I feel like the teaser is actually more indicative of the tone of the film than that trailer is.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think I actually agree with you on that.
Again,
But-
that music doesn't help. The rock music in the second
Yeah,
half of that trailer,
The music doesn't help.
it is the way it's edited, and in some of the line readings they're using, it sounds cheesier. It looks actually cheesier than the movie really is,
Yeah, it actually does.
and it's got, there's this energy to it, and I'm not saying that that's not an energetic movie, but it feels a lot more. And obviously, when you cut a trailer together, you're gonna cut it to be like quick paced and everything.
Yeah.
But you kind of imagine the movie is maybe going to be more that way
Yeah.
from that trailer, where it just seems a lot more bombastic. Like if I saw that, and I don't remember that trailer at all actually, but if wipe my memory clean and show me that trailer right before I go in,
Yeah.
right now, and I'm going to expect there's not very much downtime
Yeah.
in that movie. That's also a pet peeve of mine, where you show too much, as you said, of the movie, but
Yeah.
also I don't like seeing too much stuff from the end of the film.
Right,
I don't
that's-
like getting
that's
shots of
what I
the
don't-
final scene.
Yeah, that's what I was mainly talking about. Was just in that they showed too much of the movie. They showed like the kiss and stuff,
Yeah.
which I mean, that was probably marketed a lot.
I
on
don't.
that,
Yeah, it
but-
was marketed real hard on that, and that's trying to make it look like a comic book.
Yeah.
And so I don't mind that so much.
Yeah.
I think, and it's also somewhat disingenuous because I'm saying this knowing the movie. So if I see that trailer, do I know I'm seeing footage from the final scene? No. I have this issue with Amazing Spider-Man 2 also, where they show you the final frame of the movie. Now, I don't know what's the final frame when I see the movie. I mean, when I see that trailer.
Yeah.
But then I am taken out by it in the theater, where
Right.
I'm remembering seeing that 150 times
Yeah.
in the trailer. This isn't quite that bad, and it's only just flashes to the funeral and stuff. And I think that's trying to get us off the beaten path, to make us think that somebody other than Norman Osborn, obviously spoilers for these movies, is the person whose funeral we're at.
Yeah.
I remember there being some talk that they were trying to make it look like the Gwen Stacy death. You see Mary Jane falling.
Yeah.
You see Spider-Man trying to rescue her. You see the funeral of the end. Now, did they show her at the funeral
I don't
in that trailer?
know.
Because if they didn't, then there's a lot of credence to that strategy that they're trying to make you
Yeah.
think that they're killing her, and they're going back to the Gwen Stacy thing. And obviously, even though she doesn't die in that scene, it is harkening back to that,
Yeah.
in the movie as kind of a tease, like, oh, maybe it's a sadistic choice that he won't manage.
Oh, and the Batman Begins trailer also ended with the last shot of the film. I remember when we did that.
That is an exception
That-
because it's awesome.
Yeah, that's
I make an exception for that, and also because it's I don't know. I was gonna say because it's kind of an innocuous shot that could maybe be anywhere, but you could say that about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 thing also, I guess, with the manhole cover.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that trailer is like 4.5 minutes long. But yeah, so I don't know. It's hard to be consistent about this. It bugs me in one and doesn't in the other, and it's difficult to explain why. But so I'm not being necessarily especially consistent about that. Robert, while I've seen trailers for movies before this that gave way more than this did, yeah, but not as often with superhero movies. It seems like, especially, later on, MCU will play things a lot closer to the vest.
Yeah.
Which is a strategy that I certainly prefer.
Yeah.
And maybe this is just a thing that we did more early on with these kind of movies, with the exception of Sony, that, continued to keep doing it. It'll be interesting to see if this is a trend with these trailers as we go along, where they just keep getting longer and longer, because I've been making fun of Sony Spider-Man trailers for a long time once you get to Amazing.
Yeah.
But then again, we're not going to watch, the final trailers. We're going to watch mostly the first ones.
Yeah.
And because we'd be here all night if we watched the longer ones.
Right.
Then it would be like watching short films. Anyway, I won't spend this long on each of these, but I did want to just briefly talk a little bit about my experience when this movie came out. It was, of course, a huge deal. I was excited like everybody else was. And this was the first time I remember really paying any attention to box office. The movie was released, and it had the number that sticks in my head, and I could look this up, but the number that sticks in my head was 119 million opening weekend, which was unheard of then. It's somewhere between 90 and 120, but I'm pretty sure it was 119. That's what I remember. And you count for inflation and everything. This was 21 years ago. That was nuts. That was huge.
Right.
And it was clear that it was gonna change everything, because a lot of studios were still, of course, kind of leery of superhero movies. Just to put you in the point in history, we had finally had X-Men, and that was pretty successful, but it wasn't the giant guns that this was. That, of course, doesn't appeal to everybody in the way that Spider-Man does, or to as many people, and not the kids as much. That was much more of a movie for adults.
Yeah.
And you'd had Blade, which a lot of people didn't even realize was based on a comic book, and Batman was kind of dead in the water right then, and it would be, and that's also a lot of the reason that Hollywood was shying away from these kinds of movies. So the fact that, Batman and Robin, so the fact that, 5 years later, you had a superhero movie that did better than, your last couple Batman movies. Or at least a lot better than the last one. Now, Batman Forever did huge guns.
Yeah.
For its time, but I would have to go back and look at the two takes next to each other, compare them, and also judge for inflation some, because you're talking, 7, 8 years apart from each other.
Right.
And then it would be another 3 years before you got Batman. And Batman Begins did well, but it wasn't the cultural phenomenon, of course, that this was and that Dark Knight would be. But, I mean, this paved the way for all that stuff. So, I mean, I don't think that you can overestimate the importance for this for the relative onslaught of superhero movies that you got in the 2000s, and then the renaissance that we got by 2008 into the early 2010s. Anything else you wanted to bring up about that trailer specifically?
No. It just, like you said, it just seemed a lot more cheesier than it actually kind of was. It seemed a lot more, I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in a little bit. I don't know. I think it did do a good job, especially for that time.
Clearly worked.
Yeah, clearly worked.
It looks fun. It looks exciting. They're showing a lot of the action.
Yeah, which is cool.
Now, do you think that they're they showed more of him than I thought they were going to, but you still don't get big close-ups of Green Goblin. Do you think that they're keeping him secluded a little bit like that, only giving us quick glimpses of him because they want to save what they think is the coolness of that character, or because they know it doesn't look great?
I don't know. I don't know if they thought it didn't look good.
It's hard to say. And by they, I mean the studio.
Right.
And whoever's cutting that trailer. Daniverse says 114 million, so I'm close if that's true. Daniverse, the first movie to open over $100 million. Is that right? Did that have the record at that time? That's crazy. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on now. Half an hour, we have watched trailers for one movie. Are you ready, Jason?
Yes.
Okay, so we're into Spider-Man 2 now. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I've got to actually look up the Spider-Man 2 trailer because I had the wrong thing there. So let me pull that up real quick. Jason, what is your favorite of the Raimi movies? I know we probably talked about this on our
2.
podcast about the about Spider-Man in general, but
Yeah. 2.
2?
2.
All right, here we go. This is just the standard Spider-Man 2 trailer. Here we go.
Cool.
I believe there's a hero in all of us. Gives us strength.
Everybody remembers that line. It's kind of memey now.
Sometimes we have to give up the thing we want the most.
That was weird.
That was weird.
Okay, hold on. hold on. Can we talk about this? Okay, so she's on a poster
Yeah.
and her hair is moving.
Give up the thing we want the most.
But now it's not because it's on a poster. So wait. So what you're telling me is they actually filmed video of that. And then they took a still of it and they made that the Emma Rose poster all over New York and in Times Square. But in the trailer, they used some of the footage they shot of like a publicity thing. Oh, okay.
What?
It'd be really funny if it was like Harry Potter, where her hair is moving here, like right now.
Yeah.
Go! Oh, come on, say it. I feel that way myself sometimes.
I know, I'm trying. So where you been, pal? You don't return my calls.
I've been kind of busy.
Oh. Oh, subtext. More than subtext.
No matter what I do,
You love me or not.
no matter how hard I try,
Stop.
Yeah, those quick fades to black constantly so you don't see too much. We still do this.
Right.
Oh, it hurts my eyes.
Stop doing it.
Spider-Man.
So even back then, you know why we do that? That's so that the fanboys on the internet, and I know this is 04, so we don't have YouTube yet.
Right.
But especially a little bit after this, we're going to do this more. And so that fanboys can constantly pause and make a big deal out of all the Easter eggs that they're finding.
Right.
And that's just a
What was that weird
comic
thing
shot, of course.
that they did where
That-
they put the Spider-Man head on his face? Did you see that? No, it's
That's to make it look... So that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah,
That's to make
it
it
is.
look like the comic book panel thing.
yeah.
And
But
they never did it in the movie, which I kind of wish they'd done,
What's
but...
weird is it's not half.
Is it
It's like-
not?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it's-
it is half, but it's like
it's both sides, which is weird.
Both sides.
But yeah, the Spider-Man No More thing was kind of a big deal.
I like seeing you tonight, Peter.
Now's the moment.
Octavius is gonna put Oscorp on the map in a way my father never even dreamed of.
Let's call him Doctor Strange. And it's taken.
Spider-Man, not your best friend. Spider-Man is me. I'll find him.
This is cut actually a lot like that other one.
I'll peel the flesh off her bones.
Well, they're showing us quite a bit of the movie in sequence here.
Bigger things happening here than me and you.
And we're making a big deal out of how coiffed Norman Osborn's hair is.
Yeah.
Or not, Harry Osborn. Norman Osborn is dead, spoiler alert.
Avenge me.
Godspeed, Spider-Man! A man...
A man becomes spider. Wait, did Doc Ock wear a hat in a scene?
Did he?
Yeah, he was wearing a fedora. When does he wear a fedora?
I think he wears that in the bank, maybe?
Yeah, does he wear that in the bank?
I think so. But I think that's the only scene where he wears it.
I didn't think he ever wore a hat.
That is such a provocative image to sell your movie on when Spider-Man's chained up like that
Yeah.
in the Osborn mansion.
Yeah.
That looks so exciting.
Yeah, that looks so
It just
excited.
makes you want to run off and watch it again.
That's at the top of my list.
I'm definitely going to put that at the top of mine. I feel like that is what the first trailer did refined. Like it's doing the same thing but better, because it did show us a fair bit of it, but I didn't feel like I didn't feel like it was too much like I did that other one.
And it wasn't showing us a lot of the end either. So.
Now I will say yes.
I will say way too many
Mary
black to cuts. Like they did
in
that
the middle of it?
probably like 20 times
in a row.
And
it just makes my eyes water.
I'm like, stop.
You quit it. Do fewer of them and hold on the scene slightly longer.
Yeah, if you do it like 8 times, it's fine. If you go like Dawn, Dawn, Dawn.
Yeah,
Dawn.
just pace it differently.
Yeah.
Maybe you picked the wrong music, you know,
Right.
because you're pacing it to go rhythmically with the music.
Yeah.
You said it didn't use anything from the end. I think Mary Jane standing in his apartment might be from the very last scene. Was she in the gown?
I don't know.
Isn't it the only time she's even in that
I
apartment?
think she is. I think that's the only time
In that movie? She's in it in 3.
Right. I'm excited to see
The one for 3?
The one for 3.
I am too.
I'm really excited to see that because I've never seen it. I've never seen any of these. Like,
Let's see.
any of the Raimi ones.
Let's see what the audience is saying about this. 123 Rock fan. God, this trailer showed so much. Robert, while the hospital scene is still one of the best scenes in any superhero movie, if you aren't entertained by it, I can't relate to you. Yeah, but you're a giant fan of Raimi's horror stuff, and we can just agree to disagree on that. I've talked about this ad nauseum and in reviews and commentaries and stuff, but I've always felt like that the way that scene is shot is out of place.
I think it is out of place. I really like how Raimi's horror stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that.
It's
I
a
just
cool
don't think
scene out of context.
Yeah, I just don't think it works with that movie.
It's a little over the top in the wrong way, I think.
Yeah.
And like with the girls like nails on a chalkboard thing or
Yeah,
across the
yeah.
floor where somehow her nails like scratch all the way through linoleum, and
Yeah.
I don't understand how that works.
Okay, so Doc Ock does wear a hat. Oh yeah, because he wears a disguise because we don't know that it's him, and then he takes his, and then he like turns around and it's like, oh man, it's Doc Ock.
You know, I hadn't had this thought before, but it would be interesting watching those movies with you again now that you've seen The Evil Deads.
Yeah, I did watch 2. I watched it in a car, but
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I
you
did.
put that on a tablet on a trip.
Yeah.
So did finally seeing Evil Dead 2, and you've not seen Evil Dead 1, but you saw Evil Dead 2 and you saw Army of Darkness, and you like Evil Dead 2 a lot.
I do, yeah.
Did seeing some of his horror stuff and the stuff that he's known for initially change your perception of his Spider-Mans at all?
Not really, mostly because I just wasn't really thinking about that.
Yeah.
Like, I think when I watched that, I completely forgot it was Raimi. And then, like looking back at it, it's like, yeah. I mean, I think if I watched it again thinking, oh, yeah, this is Raimi, this is the same guy that did Evil Dead, I might have a different experience. But I just wasn't even thinking about it. I completely forgot.
I want to show you Darkman soon.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Chewbacca's lover. I saw Spider-Man 2 in theaters and had to look away during the hospital scene. My parents made me look away.
Oh, wow.
AMC, I closed my eyes during that scene for years. Yeah, interesting. Everybody's talking about how scared they were initially of that scene. I also have such a different perspective from some of these guys because I'm older than them and I was already in high school at that point. So, like, the scene didn't scare me. I just felt like I was looking at a weirdly kind of obligatory horror scene in the middle of this movie by a director that I only knew from Spider-Man. And so it was even more, and I don't give it a pass now. Not that it's a terrible scene or anything. I mean, you know, it's a small gripe, and I've got other bigger issues with that movie, of course. And by the way, I've been going back and forth with these lately. Like every time I see them, I have kind of a different reaction. I did an off the cuff review of the first Spider-Man movie like a year ago, and I was a lot more positive on it than I was the last time I talked about it.
Oh,
So yeah, I'd be interested to see if I do the same thing with Spider-Man 2, because I still really hate a lot of the relationship stuff with that movie, of course, and too much of Goffin Miller's Smallville writing is seeping its way in there, and I don't think I'll ever feel very much differently about that. But some of the other stuff might, make it more enjoyable. So I don't know. Maybe it just depends on the mood I'm in that day. I don't know. But anyway, I was just gonna say it was, I think, more intrusive to me because I didn't even know where that director came from.
Yeah.
Although I had seen Army of Darkness in high school, but I don't remember if I saw it. Well, I would have had to have seen it actually before Spider-Man 2, but I probably didn't know it was the same director.
When did
I probably had no idea.
Army of Darkness come out?
Army of Darkness comes out in the early 90s.
Okay.
But somebody showed it to me in like senior year of high school. Okay, guys. Let me read this super chat real quick. Thanks a lot. And maybe there's some more that I've missed. Let me roll up and find out. Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. The Raimi Spider-Man films are to us what Batman 89 is to you, at least the first two films. Yeah. And I totally get that. Where a lot of these guys, and we have, of course, an audience of different ages, but a lot of the guys that were watching me in the late 2000s that are still with us, and thank you guys for sticking around for so long. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. A lot of those guys were seeing these movies when they were 5 or 10.
Yeah.
And I can really relate to, and not that you have to be apologetic about liking these movies, certainly, and I still enjoy them as well, but maybe to a little bit less than I did at one time. I go back and forth, but I can certainly relate to having a lot of nostalgia for and wanting to go back to the thing that, or one of the things that got you into the genre in the first place. And when he says that Spider-Man is like 89 for me, like for a lot of these guys, that would have been the first superhero movie, at least out in the theater, that they would have seen.
Yeah.
Or on video when it first came out. Just double checking to see if I missed any super chats. No, it doesn't look like I did. Okay, we're gonna go on to Spider-Man 3, and so we both have the same order right now of the 3 trailers we've watched so far.
Yes.
We both like the Spider-Man 2 trailer the most.
Yes.
So far.
I think I'm gonna have the Spider-Man 3 trailer at the top of my list. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Let's find out. Here we go. Ooh, it's so dark and ominous. Just like you kind of hope the movie would be.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's cool.
That was weird.
Has to put his wife before himself. Can you do that, Peter?
That's true. That's some good old-fashioned wholesome values.
No.
Okay, but just remember, it's okay because he has a daughter, and that makes it okay for him to break the law. That effect was such a big deal in the theater.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the tone of this trailer so much more than the film.
Yeah.
Was our disappointment of this movie because it looked this good?
It can take us so long. Before you know it, it can turn you into something ugly.
It's like they knew the movie didn't work, and they were making it
Where did this come from?
look so much better. I remember being just over the moon about this stuff when I saw the trailer in the theater.
Lose yourself to it.
Even though I didn't like just making the costume black like that. Oh, see, they're not showing any of the goofiness of the dark side.
Yeah.
They're making him look legitimately scary. And of course, none of that works because of the emo stuff.
Yeah.
They're not even showing enough of New Goblin's costume to make him look silly.
Right.
That's the shot where I had goosebumps in the theater. You have done terrible things to each other.
I need your help.
Is that line in the movie?
What line?
We've done terrible things to each other, and we have to learn to what did she say? Forget. It's kind of stock dialogue. Let's listen to this again.
We have to forgive each other, or everything we ever were will mean nothing.
I I actually don't think that's in the
I
movie.
don't think that's in the movie.
That's in
I
the
don't.
movie. I don't remember.
Maybe
though.
they put it
I've
back in the
seen it
editor's
once.
cut?
I don't.
I don't remember that. Okay.
I need your help. I have to stop it.
That's not really a plot point either. They make it look like Mary Jane is going to do something, which would be great, by the way, instead of her just getting kidnapped at the end, which is also in the trailer. You see Gwen Stacy for half a second?
Yeah.
Showing the Sandman face for a split second up against the train was such a good call.
Okay, this
Holy crap, that's a good trailer.
Looks more like a Raimi movie than the actual movie did.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's at the top of my list right now.
On my list.
Which pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because that movie doesn't work at all.
That movie, or that trailer looked way better than the movie did.
Is that part of why I hated it so much? Because it looks like a really cool movie.
Looks like a really cool movie.
Now, I still had to have been nervous about the retconning the origin thing. Because you can already tell that's there. It's like, oh, this is the guy that really killed your uncle. You're, oh, no, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, everything else looks really good.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to be on the outs because, Peter and Mary Jane. They're going to be on the outs because he's going to do horrible things in the black costume.
Yeah.
He's going to, lose his inhibitions.
Yeah.
And he's going to wreck their relationship. And then when he gets rid of the suit, they're going to come back together and she's going to kind of help him like a sidekick because she knows his identity and they're going to both admit to their faults.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen in that movie.
Yeah.
So were there reshoots to make it worse? Ah.
I mean, I hope not.
I saw massive glimpses of what that should have been.
Yeah.
This is a fun and painful exercise.
Yeah.
Can I just say that? It's a fun but painful exercise. Let's see what the audience is saying here. Chewbacca's lover, $5 super chat. I need your help. That's him going to Harry, not Mary Jane. Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, but they edited it to make him look like he's talking to.
Yeah, and it's a bad edit if you've seen the movie because when it cuts to Mary Jane, it doesn't look like she's even in the same place that he's at.
Yeah.
But even if that's not where they were in the actual movie, it still could have been him talking to her and then they just showed her in a different scene. Like that's manipulative. It's very weird that they're trying to make you think that. Almost like they know they've got a relationship story that is kind of cynical and doesn't work.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make her look better than she's going to look in the movie.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh, God. It's so weird. AMC, say what you will, but Avi Arad was right. Spider-Man fans at the time absolutely wanted the black suit in Venom. Well, I mean, he was right more recently, too, when a not very good movie, just because it's Venom, made $1 billion. Or close. Whatever that did. Oh, we're going to watch the Venom teaser. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
With the unfinished effects?
Uh-huh.
Because it's hilarious.
Yeah, I remember when that first came out.
You can't wait, right?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Batman Jones, yes, it looked amazing, but turned out mid. I don't know what that means, and ruined my day. I'm not up with the slang these days, folks.
Yeah.
AMC, nope. Robert Wilde, that line should be in the movie. Yeah, it should. Alexis Martin, no, that line is not in the movie, but should have been. Okay, well, we're all in agreement here, it seems like.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we're doing this, because it's interesting to see the things... Of course, we talk about this all the time with trailers, but it's interesting to see the stuff that doesn't make the movie and that really ought to have.
Yeah.
And it can be really frustrating, especially when it's stuff that it feels like it's taken out and then the movie doesn't make as much sense as it ought to.
Yeah.
Where sometimes you can even see connective tissue bits.
Yeah.
In trailers that were taken out of the film. We don't have that here.
Yeah. Should we take a break real quick?
Yeah.
Because we're at an hour.
Yep. I was actually just about to do that. Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. Let's read this real quick. Spider-Man 3 is the only one I didn't get to see in theaters. I was so pissed even after I saw it because I thought it was good. I was a dumb kid. Would I have liked that movie more if I'd been a kid? I mean, it's really hard to say. You know? Like, I could see growing up with Spider-Man 1 and 2 as, you know, a kid in single digits, 8, 9. Yeah. And then Spider-Man 3 comes out when I'm 12 or 13. But, like, would I have been disappointed like I was with Batman and Robin? You know, like, I love Batman Forever. Yeah. And then I saw Batman and Robin, and I was like, what did we do? You know, and like, I was a little bit older. I was verging on a teenager at that point. Yeah. Maybe I would have had the same thing with this, maybe not. Yeah. Not that it's fair to compare Spider-Man 3 and Batman and Robin, but only in the sense that they are places where a franchise completely jumps the shark. Yeah. And when I say that about Batman Forever, in the Batman and Robin, this is why it's not really a fair comparison. A lot of people felt that, or some people, especially later on, felt that way with Batman Forever, that franchise had jumped the shark. But it feels like a new franchise. Yeah. So if you like Batman Forever as a first Batman movie, and then you see Batman and Robin, you might feel like it jumped the shark. Yeah. That's what I mean when I say that. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here. And then we'll move on to the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Hope you're having a good time. Thanks a lot for being here and for all the interaction in the comments, and we'll talk to you in just a minute. And we're back, folks. We just got another super chat from Chewbacca's lover. Let's read that real quick, and then we'll get into the Amazing Spider-Man trailers. $10 super chat. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. He says, I was even invested in the Peter MJ romance as a kid. The idea that it could be toxic or unhealthy hurts my feelings, but it's the one thing about those films that I can't defend. Yeah, if you're watching that as a kid and you're not thinking about the fact that these adults are not acting like adults and that they're being kind of petty and they're not communicating, they're not even really trying to, they're acting in some cases, insecure for not enough of a good reason. You may not pick up on that as a kid, and you might think that it's just drama. You know, and that worked better for me even in high school. Like, I started to get inklings that Goff and Miller maybe weren't very good at writing relationship stuff with that movie, and then as that comes out, the Clark Lana stuff in Smallville starts to get a lot worse. And then later on, I'm seeing all the seams even early on from first season of that show. Okay, let's go ahead and watch the first trailer for Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if this is the teaser or the full-length trailer. I think it's the full-length trailer. By the way, guys, if there are any teasers or trailers, because we did this with Batman, that we're not playing, that you think are interesting or maybe important that we look at, let us know. I had folks on Patreon suggest a couple things that I actually already had in my queue. So if you're wondering why your name's not getting mentioned when I play that stuff, it's because I already had it rigged up. But thanks a lot for the suggestions anyway, and you can put anything in the comments. If you want us to watch something, we're going to stick to movies unless somebody just really wants us to watch something apart from that. And like we did with Batman, we just asked that that it comes with a super chat. So if you leave a super chat for that kind of thing, we will go ahead and watch maybe a couple of extra things if you really want us to look at it. But we have enough material that we don't really need that, which is why we're only going to do it that way. Okay, here we go. 5 years later. 5 years later. Oh, you've seen this guy before, but now it's at night, and it's a different actor.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Parker.
Not much to tell, really.
Peter's missing out an uncle.
Did you catch that spider guy yet?
No, but we will.
Making a big deal out of science stuff.
I think he's trying to do something maybe the police can't.
Our Spider-Man has, or Peter Parker has more of a New York accent now.
Seriously, give him a cop in a skin-tight red and blue suit.
He's quipping, which he did not do enough of for fans' taste in the Raimi movies.
Rough for you, Peter.
I forgot all about that thing. It was your dad's.
Your father was a very secretive man, Peter.
Doctor Connors.
I've always loved the actor choices for Ben and May in these movies.
We're gonna change the lives of millions, including mine. Extraordinary. How did you come up with this? There's a rumor of a
Can you believe this was 11 years ago?
Yeah.
Gotta stop him. It's like creating him.
And he's real.
That's not your job.
Maybe it is.
I don't feel like this when I watch this movie, but this trailer makes it look too much like a Batman movie.
Yeah, I guess it kind of does.
48 of New York's finest versus one guy in a unitard. Wow.
If you want the truth,
I like those cuts.
come get it.
We're saying untold stories, so you don't think it's going to be too much of a rehash of the origin we did last time.
Vigilante, known as Spider-Man.
And a lot of people complained that it had to be origin again. Which is why, of course, MCU just doesn't even tell you if there is an Uncle Ben. Was that a shot of... I'm sorry, let me go back for a second. Was Gwen with Spider-Man in that shot? Or, oh, just Peter Parker? Sorry, I was trying to see if there was any indication from the trailer. Yeah, there it is. That, so if you're really paying attention, you'll know that she's going to find out in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, that beam dropping, Ninja Turtles 2014 rips off 2 years after this. Totally rips that off.
Okay, I really like those, like, I don't even know what that's supposed to be, but, like, all the, like, when they have the text,
Yeah.
like, the background, like, I really like that.
That's actually one of the detractors for me. I don't really care.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really care for that.
I don't know.
I
think
want to
that's
say it kind of dates it, which is weird to say because
Yeah.
2012 doesn't feel like that long ago to me, but it almost feels like it might have felt dated then. I don't know. Yeah, it's not a bad trailer, certainly.
It's not a bad trailer.
I remember seeing it and thinking, wow, they're trying too hard to look different.
Yeah.
To separate it enough from the other movies. That's why so much of it is shot at night.
Yeah.
And the costume I felt like change for the sake of change.
Yeah.
And I liked it more in the context of the movie. I always thought the texture was weird. I always thought the basketball thing was kind of odd. And I'm not a big fan of the eyes.
Yeah.
But it, won me over a little bit.
Yeah. I really like that suit. I really like Garfield. I
know
really
you do.
That they tell the origin story differently enough that they do it better, I think.
I think so too. I actually think it's a better origin.
Yeah. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I gotta put it right under Spider-Man 3.
Okay. But you like the way it's sold?
Yeah.
But our lists right now are exactly the same. I actually think I agree with you. I mean, I think I actually like it better than the Spider-Man 2 trailer too.
Yeah.
So we still have identical lists. Actually, let me think about this for a second. You know what? I'm not going to put it there. I actually am going to put it after Spider-Man 2. And the reason is because it wasn't as effective at the time for me as the Spider-Man 2 trailer was.
I'm not, and I will do it way more based on past experiences with these trailers when it goes, when I get to the trailers.
But now you're looking at it retroactively.
Right. I'm looking at it whatever you
retrographically.
say. Retrographically.
Right.
Yeah. So I wasn't there. Really, I don't remember it because I was like 2. So
discussing topic says nearly everything with Peter's parents are badly handled in both films, and Robert says the stuff with Peter's parents sucks. Yeah, I agree with that. To a point, like there's some ideas there that I think are kind of cool, but I think the whole thing is predicated on convenience, and that really irritates me. And I don't like that Peter's father is involved in like every super science thing that we do in that. The underground lab is so goofy in the second movie, even though, in the train car, it kind of looks cool. But when I say I like the origin better, what I really mean is not the parent stuff so much as, well, really at all. Like, I'm with you. That stuff's not great. What I like about it is the way the aftermath of Uncle Ben's death is handled. And I've talked about this, of course, at length before, but the idea that Peter would have a period where he really wants revenge and he chases it longer.
Yeah.
It's not just, ambiguously, I sort of maybe am responsible for the death of the burglar, and then, we'll just move on, like we do in the first Raimi movie.
Yeah.
And then they make the mistake of bringing it back up in 3, which is really strange, where Mary Jane's like, I mean, I don't even know if you killed that guy. And I'm like, why are you in a relationship with this guy then? Yeah. Like, that's crazy. But the idea that he very easily could have become one of his own villains.
Yeah.
Because he's so angry about the death of Uncle Ben, and he's trying to chase down the killer, and he's ready to kill whoever he finds that might have been involved. And then he has the moment with the kid on the bridge.
Yeah.
And that's how he figures out power and responsibility. That's so much more powerful than just the repeated line from his uncle about it.
Yeah.
And, that moment really turned me around on that, especially in the theater. Chewbacca's Lover, $10 super chat. Thanks again, man. I was a teen when Amazing was coming out, and I was still sore that we didn't get a Spider-Man 4, and we're rebooting. But I was also sort of excited to see what it would be like, had mixed feelings. And I wasn't in that place with it. And again, we were different ages. I probably disliked Spider-Man 3 a lot more than you did when it first came out. I couldn't take it seriously. I thought it had really jumped the shark at that point. And the relationship stuff had gotten so much worse. You know, it was sort of like, in its way, Transformers 2, where you took the thing from the first movie, in this case, the thing from the second movie, that I hated the most, and you dialed it up to 11. You made a whole movie about it. Well, Transformers 2 was, it's a different thing. It's not the relationship stuff, but Transformers 2 was, you take the inappropriate and potty humor from the first movie, and you make it the whole movie. You just throw it all over the movie. I couldn't even show it to my kids. And that's, not that Spider-Man 3 is like that, in that I can't show it to my kids, right. Although we might have to have a little bit of a discussion after it about, you know, how you should behave in relationships, and that what Peter does to Sandman and Harry Osborn isn't okay just because they don't happen to die. Yeah. You know, and all of that. I realize he's in the black suit, but it's no excuse. But anyway, so I was not ready for any kind of a reboot. I didn't want 4, and I didn't want a reboot. I wanted it to sit for like 7 years. Yeah. And then come back with a very fresh, totally unique vision. Yeah. And to Mark Webb's credit, and I still love that the director's name is Webb, to Mark Webb's credit, he did have a different vision. Yeah. And he nails the relationship stuff, particularly in that first movie. Yeah. The problem is that it was a little bit too soon. And like, I see that from both sides. Too soon for folks that really wanted Spider-Man 4, and too soon for folks that were kind of just still reeling from that and didn't really even need Spider-Man for a while. Like, I was ready to just, you know, let it sit for a while. Yeah. But as, you know, a lot of people, they have said, and I've said a lot in the past, you had the effective parts flipped. So Raimi was great with the action and not so good with the relationship stuff. Yeah. That's not entirely his fault. It was more the scriptwriters. And Webb had the exact opposite thing, where it's better as a talky relationship drama than it is as a superhero film. Yeah. And there's some okay moody stuff in that, but again, particularly at the beginning when it's, you know, almost a revenge thriller. Yeah. But then, especially when you get to the end, there's some really cornball action stuff, and then like the silly piano sting that I always make fun of, and then the villain plot is real derivative, been there, done that. Let's turn everybody into the villain, you know, that whole thing. You really can't do that anymore. Like, no. You did it with X-Men, you did it with Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then we keep doing it. You can't do that anymore. Yeah. But yeah, so let me read one more super chat. Brandon Martin, $5 super chat. Thanks so much. The 1 minute or so Be Greater commercial for the PS4 game. Okay, so wait. Yeah. So PS4 slogan was Be Greater. Mm. And then the movie slogan, the movie side was Be Moved. Yeah. Okay. The 1 minute or so Be Greater commercial for the PS4 game, or was it just the slogan for that Spider-Man game? Maybe that's all it was. Okay. Was shown in theaters and absolutely rules. That should be in the running here. Yeah, we can watch that too. Yeah. Do you want to throw that at the end, or do you want to just go ahead and knock it out? I don't know, we're going through history right now.
Yeah, we can do that after Homecoming.
Should we tack it on?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and pull it up and then put it in my notes. Yeah. So that we don't forget to do it. And thanks for the super chat. So we'll go ahead and tackle that for you. So let's see. Spider-Man PS4 Be Greater trailer.
Oh, they put
that rhymes, folks.
In the Street Fighter 6. I didn't realize that.
Oh, weird. Yeah. So Ninja Turtles is now in both Injustice and Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Very strange. Okay.
Yeah, that just dropped today, apparently.
Wild. Okay, anything else you want to say about that, or should we go ahead and move on?
Let's move on.
I don't mean to just sit here and do mini reviews of all these movies again, but it's just getting me back in the headspace for this stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about some of this stuff in quite a while, particularly the Amazing movies.
I really want to watch the first one again, because I really like that movie, but I just don't get to see it that much.
Are you in the camp that thinks that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of the worst things that ever happened to the world?
To Spider-Man, yeah.
Because I mean, there's people that think that's when the world ended. Was when that
It's
movie
not
came
as
out.
bad as Batman and Robin, but
Let's see, a lot of people would disagree with you.
yeah. And it's not as bad as BVS.
It's not a good movie.
No, it's not.
It's so convoluted and it's long, and I mean, like, it's bombastic in all the wrong ways. Like, yes, it has huge problems. It doesn't work. I still don't think it's quite as bad as a lot of people thought it was.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's... Yeah, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's as bad as some other not great movie. Superhero movies.
And I'm not gonna say that it's better than Spider-Man 3.
No,
Like,
it's not.
I'm certainly not going to say that.
No.
But I mean, there's folks that act like it's the worst movie ever made.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's not good, but it's not that bad. At least I don't think.
Yeah, maybe at that point my standards were getting so low for some of this stuff, but
I am excited to see what this trailer is like, though.
yeah, let's see what it looks like. All right, here we go. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Everybody hold on to your butts. Here we go.
Because I remember seeing this movie in the trailer, but not the... Or in the theater.
In the theater.
Not the trailer.
I remember that shot.
What was that?
We gotta admit, that looks great.
Yeah.
The more people I try to save, the more enemies I will make.
Do you ever feel like I have the fakest New York accent
The more I face those, the more power
and no responsibility?
will come. I'm so sorry I'm late.
Stop trying to sound like a Nolan movie.
Yeah.
Now remember, we are now 2 years after Rises.
Yeah.
And Amazing came out the same year as Rises.
Yeah.
I just saw him in a movie this weekend. He's in Oppenheimer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. What is his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. It starts with a D. The kid from Chronicle.
Oh, yeah, that is that good.
Oh, remember the man in the hat?
Yeah.
Was supposed to be the center of bringing together the Sinister Six.
The future.
What's weird is this trailer really made it look like, I remember this, really made it look like the Sinister Six was going to come together in this movie.
Yeah.
And then it's just teasing that. Last shot of the movie.
What?
In the middle of the trailer. Not even the end of the trailer. The middle of the trailer.
That's not...
I know. I hate it. The first moment we saw anything about Electro, I knew that was going to be awful. I mean, I hoped I was wrong, of course, but I was like, I just feel like I can tell how cartoony and one note this is going to be.
I do have a lot of nostalgia for that Electro, though.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Doesn't that Electro just come off like sort of like Sandman, where it's like, people were mean to me. That makes it okay for me to break the law.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that trailer.
It was very just, I don't know, it feels a lot like other trailers from that time. It was nothing special.
It does, yeah.
It didn't stand out at all, and it felt, I don't know. It didn't make you, I don't think it would have actually made me excited to see that movie. Like, not probably as a kid if I saw that trailer. I don't remember if I saw that trailer or not, but if I saw that trailer, I probably would be excited about it. But now, I don't know if I would be that excited about it.
I certainly wasn't. I certainly couldn't get, a lot of muster a lot of excitement.
And it doesn't really feel like I don't know if I don't really think it feels a lot like that actual movie it does, and it doesn't feel better like the Spider-Man 3 trailer did. Like, that Spider-Man 3 trailer made that movie look way awesome. Made it way more awesome than it actually was.
Yeah.
And the Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer is just like...
It's a lot of teasing fan service.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, so it feels like a hard left turn.
Yeah.
And in some ways, the movie does also.
Yeah.
So it's at least indicative of the film you're going to see in that way. I agree. Well, I agree and disagree with you when you say that it doesn't feel very much like the movie you actually see. That movie is so tonally all over the place that what you have there is a trailer for a movie that looks more tonally consistent. You can't cut a trailer for that's going to actually give you the feeling or anything of the experience that you'll have watching that movie, because if you did, it would be all over the place.
Right.
You'd have 5 seconds of bombastic, crazy superhero romp, and then you'd have 5 seconds of depressing, oppressive horribleness.
Yep.
And then you'd have 5 seconds of dubstep electro music, and where he's like talking at you in dubstep.
Yep.
It's that
seems great.
It would feel like you were looking at 30 different movies in a row.
Right.
You don't want to sell a movie like that, even if
really
that's
don't.
what it is.
Yeah.
But where I thought you were going with that, and this is the big point I wanted to make, is, again, it is indicative of the actual movie in that it feels like a hard left turn. It feels like kind of damage control, where we've got to, or like this pivot, where they're responding to, sort of like BVS with Man of Steel. We're responding to all of the criticisms of the first movie.
Yeah.
People don't like the costume. We'll make it more classic looking.
Yep.
People don't like that it's Spider-Man at night, so we put him in the daytime, and we make it look a lot brighter and more fun. There is some nighttime stuff, but that trailer is showing you a lot of the daytime stuff.
Yeah.
People didn't love the Lizard, so we're going to throw a bunch of villains at you, and we're going to bring you back to the Raimi movies in that we've got Osborns again.
Yeah.
And we have a shot of Harry Osborn in the suit real briefly, but hey, the color scheme is exactly the same. Like, it's the same sort of emerald green. Like, it looks like that suit again, at least at first glance. All of that.
I don't know where I was going to... I don't know where I'm going to put this.
Spog is love for $5 super chat. Why is Oscorp spying on me? Isn't that the question of the day? This scene is not in the movie. Oh yeah, good call. I missed that. It was hard for my mind not to wander even just watching that trailer.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, yep, been there, done that. Feels like another obligatory superhero thing.
Yeah.
It really... and it kind of reeks of... this is a trailer for a movie, for a sequel to a movie that did just well enough to get another movie.
Yeah.
Or that people... I think it did okay at the box office, but Spider-Man 2 felt like a cultural event.
Yeah.
Sort of like Dark Knight did, where it's like people were really into this, really rallied around it, could not wait for the next one, and it's a big freaking deal that this is coming out.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, or Amazing Spider-Man 2, is the sequel to a movie that was sold kind of timidly, that is trying to be as exciting and bombastic as possible, that still feels kind of timid in the way they're selling it. But also, it's hard not to do that because you've got a bit of a mess on your hands when you're trying to sell that. Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. Oh, sorry, we already read that one. Yeah. Apologies.
Yeah, I'm putting that trailer at the bottom, honestly.
Are you?
Yeah.
You know what? I think I am too. Yeah, I mean, it didn't really do anything for me. I'm partly basing this on whether these are making me want to watch these movies again now.
Yeah.
Which sounds unfair, because it's retroactive and I know which ones I like and which ones I don't. But I've got the Spider-Man 3 trailer at the very top, and it made me want to watch that movie, or at least it made me want to watch the movie it was selling.
Yeah.
Even as I know it's not that movie.
Right. It's not that movie.
I mean, it's very effective. Even now, even knowing what I know. So yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is right at the bottom. And that, once again, because I put Spider-Man 3 at the top, and you guys know I don't like that, how much I don't like that movie, this clearly does not mean that I am basing this on whether I actually like the film.
Yeah.
Bottom tier collector, all right, Geekvolution stream for the ride home from work. You're welcome. Thanks for watching while you're driving. Chewbacca's lover says I missed somebody's super chat. Was he just talking about his own?
I think he was just talking about his own.
Yeah, no, I got everything else, I think. If I missed one, somebody else let me know, please. But thanks for that. Bob the Hunt, $5 super chat. I said this in a super chat that you missed. Oh, goodness. But Emma Stone... Oh, yes, I did miss that. Sorry, Bob the Hunt. You don't have to leave another super chat. I read that super chat and thought I read it out loud, but I did not read it out loud. He said Emma Stone was a fox in those films smoking hot. Agreed? Okay, moving right along. So now we're going to watch... We're already at Homecoming.
Oh, man.
We're already at Homecoming. So we're
now,
getting...
This is where I remember these trailers. So I'm excited for this.
So we're getting past the amazing movies, even though it didn't get a real send-off.
Yeah.
Some people are happy with the sort of pseudo send-off that it now has had.
Yeah.
With Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yep.
He at least gets to come back one more time and lament the death of Gwen Stacy and stuff.
Yep.
You never get the Sinister Six movie.
Yep.
It's hard to say at this point if we'll ever get that, unless it happens in the shared Venom Sony-verse.
It probably will.
I don't know if those movies are going to keep are going to keep going. I mean, like, Morbius completely bombed.
Right.
There's no way Craven makes any money at all.
Right. Madam Web isn't going to do very well.
I don't think so either. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Prediction. Craven will make slightly more money than Blue Beetle will.
Yeah.
Blue Beetle, which comes out in a couple weeks.
Yep.
And I will be one of 14 people that goes to see that movie.
Yeah, because I don't want to see that.
Well, that's unfortunate because I'm not going by myself to that movie.
Well,
so you're going to have to see it with me.
I'm not.
So that we can complain about it together.
Dang it.
I'll buy you a hamburger.
And I'm... Okay, fine. See, the problem
He's so easy to bribe, you guys.
I'm a big Blue Beetle guy.
He's like, I just like hamburgers too much.
Yeah.
Oh, you do like Blue
Because
Beetle,
I grew
don't you?
up with Tiny Titans and stuff.
And you
I'm
don't
like,
want to see him...
I don't want to see him get the DCU treatment that everything else has.
Or what might be more like the CW treatment
right,
on the big screen.
Right. I don't want to see that in a theater. Like, that's not gonna...
Daniverse Morbius didn't open terribly, which speaks to the popularity of Marvel then, but those legs, yeah, I mean, ultimately it didn't make any money, and you don't have that consumer confidence now. Chewbacca's Lover, another $5 super chat. This is where all trailers start to feel the same and I tune out. None of them really did anything for me. Yeah, I wonder how much we're really going to have to say about these. And of course, we're having to do a lot more modern trailers than we did for Batman. And I was worried that Batman would be more interesting than this because we got to cover such a span of... This has been more interesting than I thought it would be.
But we're probably going to zoom past these pretty quickly.
I don't imagine that we're going to spend as much time on these. We're already at about an hour and a half. I think, like, we did about 2 hours on the last show. This might go 2, but I think half an hour is plenty of time, maybe more than we need, to cover the rest of these.
Yeah.
You ready to go?
Yep.
Here we go. Homecoming. So keep in mind that we have had Civil War. We have introduced Spider-Man in that movie, and there was, of course, a trailer with Spider-Man to sell that movie.
Yes.
And now we get his own feature. Here we go.
Yes.
2016, 17?
17. 7717. That's great.
That's smart. Oh, you know what? I actually do vividly remember this trailer. I mean, it was only a few years ago.
Yep.
But I saw it a ton. And I did really like this choice.
Me too.
No, we've seen that before. No, that's skirt.
So again, getting back to the high school thing
Yep.
and selling it a lot harder on that than the Amazing movies did, or than the first one did.
Just don't do anything I wouldn't do. And definitely don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's a little gray area in there, and that's where you operate.
Oh, alright.
That's not how I'm just grabbing this way. Good luck out there.
Trying to tie it to MCU as much as possible while still carving out as much of its own tone as we can.
I know you want to save the world, but you're not ready yet. You're the Spider-Man.
No, I'm not. I'm not. This is just a costume. This is
I remember the Ned Leeds thing being so confusing
Yeah.
if you'd been reading Miles Morales comics, because you're like, that's Gank. Like, you're Ganky. I know that guy.
Forget the flying monster guy. There are people who can handle this sort of thing.
Still maybe the best villain in MCU? Or
Yeah.
at least way up there?
Yeah. And I haven't seen this since it came out. So,
Oh, there he is.
there he is. Franchise.
Franchise! Oh, he's so good, though. And he's so relatable and believable and really sympathetic.
Yeah, that.
I know it irritates people, but it was at that time pretty natural
Yeah.
to sell that on Tony Stark.
Yeah.
We're making a big deal, not just out of the face of the MCU being there with the, at that point, maybe arguably second most popular Marvel character.
Yeah.
Because Iron Man had gotten so huge at that point.
Yeah.
Or maybe still most popular. I mean, it was kind of hard to say because it had been, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 nobody liked.
Right.
And so it's like, well, if we put out the right kind of Spider-Man movie, can it make more
Well, and
money
also,
than
like,
Iron Man movies?
Captain America as well and stuff.
Yeah. But Iron Man had very much, become as recognized and as liked and appreciated as Spider-Man at that point. And making a really big deal out of continuity with that. If you saw Civil War, you're going to get more of this relationship. Again, love it or hate it, whether you're in the Spider-Boy camp or not, I don't think you can argue that Robert Downey didn't have a lot, or that Robert Downey had a lot to do with the success of that movie.
Yeah.
In the way that was advertised. However you feel about how it was handled in the movie. People were concerned because of how much he's featured in that trailer that he was going to take over that movie.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest risk they took probably in cutting that trailer that way.
Yeah. Also, that song was really annoying.
I agree, but I also think that, and I think that song might actually be in that movie, but it is at least indicative of the feel of that movie. It is a very contemporary high school thing, but was really smart in setting it in like a private school for smarter kids that are really excelling.
Yeah.
For gifted kids.
Yeah.
Chewbacca's Lover, $10 super chat. Wait, did I miss one? I think I missed one. Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. Craven will make $1 billion just because you predicted that it would fail. It will be Venom all over again. How much money am I going to bet against Bob the Hun on this? There's no way that happens. Okay, I'll bet you your $5 back. You can hold me to that. Chewbacca's, because that won't happen. Chewbacca's Lover, $10 super chat. If it makes $500 million, I owe you $6. Chewbacca's Lover, $10 super chat. The crooks in Avengers masks is lifted from the Ultimate Spider-Man comic books. That's true. Thanks for reminding me of that. Also, Vulture's design is what it would look like had Spider-Man 4 come out, at least the mask. And it looks good, especially in the context of the movie.
Yeah, it does.
Because I was like, can you make the kind of furry coat menacing? And it was effective. It was menacing enough, absolutely. Alex Barron, $1 quadrillion.
Where am I gonna put that? I'm gonna put that under the Spider-Man 2 trailer.
Yeah, that's a fair place to put that.
That's where I'm gonna put that.
I will put it... Let's see. I'm going to put it under the amazing trailer also. Under the amazing trailer, I guess.
Okay. So it's both number 4 for us.
It's not a... like particularly noteworthy trailer, except just in the strategy of selling it on Robert Downey. Yeah, I guess. And and also that the sort of MCU transition thing with that opening shot in the bank to go, look, guys, we got Spider-Man back. Yeah. I mean, they're making a huge deal. That combined with the title. Homecoming. He's coming home. Right. He's coming back to Marvel. Yeah. There's a clear strategy with all of that. Yeah. And I'm kind of hesitating to say why exactly we're doing that. Like how much of it is just kind of bragging about it, just kind of getting showing our brownie points that we've been trying to make this deal with Sony happen forever, going all the way back to Avengers, and we finally did it, and it gives us more credibility as adapting the Marvel comics. It feels so weird to not have Spider-Man in this continuity. Yeah, we finally have him, and he's getting his own movie. And how much of it is like, what is the point of selling it on the continuity thing? Who didn't see Civil War? You know what I mean? Because it almost feels like the trailer is trying to catch people up to speed. Like, is it when you're seeing the Civil War fight in the laptop? Yeah. Is it to remind people about that, or to be like, remember that where you're getting that character that we that version of Spider-Man, right. Or is it to again try to catch people up, to like bring people into the fold? Yeah. I don't know. Like, is there maybe 5 people that would go to the Spider-Man movie that didn't see Civil War? Because you sold Civil War on Spider-Man. Everybody knows. Right. That movie made ridiculous amounts of money. Everybody knows. Yeah. In the words of Aunt May from Spider-Man 2, or from Spider-Man 1, everybody else knows. Harry Henry. I think it kind of exemplifies one of my big problems with the MCU. It feels like the characters don't have a life beyond the films, especially with teases to stuff not followed up on. Well, it sounds like he's like just talking about the movie itself. But I totally get that criticism, and that's a good and fair point. Dimwit Monkey, I do remember being pretty excited. And I have to say, Homecoming, now, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, and yeah, I was actually pretty stoked for that. Yeah. Partly because, really, Michael Keaton is going to be that's amazing. Yeah. That's so cool.
And that trailer actually brought back a few memories for me, so...
Well, let's see, 2017, you would have been... 7. Wow. That's crazy. Almost half your life ago.
But yeah, I remember really liking that opening scene where they pretend to be the Avengers.
Oh, Robert Wilde says yes, that he's referring to when Aunt May finds out Peter is Spider-Man. Yeah, that all the interesting dramatic stuff happens in between movies. And that's the thing that I've complained about with those movies, which, not in the trailer, but Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. I'm partially kidding, but I think it might be something everybody loves, even though it sucks, like Venom, just dumb enough to happen, gut feel. Oh, he's still talking about the Craven thing. There's no way that movie makes $1 billion.
You missed the super chat, by the way.
There's no way that movie makes $500 million. Another $5 super chat from Chewbacca's Lover. I actually like the relationship between Tony and Peter. No, I do too. I think we milked it too hard after that, and I don't like that Spider-Man is just constantly fighting what end up being Tony Stark villains. Yeah. But I don't mind it as much as some other folks do. I certainly don't mind it in Homecoming. I think the setup with that is fine. Anyway, I find it touching, even though I resent it being there. It doesn't feel like Spider-Man to me. So I was going to say this a minute ago. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, and I may feel differently about this when I finally do a rewind commentary on it, because I haven't done that yet. I haven't revisited it in a long time. It is still my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie. Yeah. I think. Really? It gets us back to brass tacks so hard. It is, even though you've got Tony Stark there, I felt weird about him recruiting Peter Parker in Civil War. I thought it was a really strange, almost out of character choice for Tony Stark.
Yeah.
If you can get past that, like just sort of ignore that for his own movie, using him as sort of Uncle Ben, or like the mentor character, even though he doesn't die, that teaches him the power responsibility lesson in a different way, I think really works, especially in the context of the larger MCU. It's predicated on your really caring about simultaneously the overarching story of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Because the ways in which Homecoming parallel the first Iron Man movie are quite good and kind of sophisticated, I think.
Yeah.
And the way you're dealing with a character that is keeping his secret identity versus one that totally opens it up at the end. They have really cool like paralleling or almost perpendicular in their way, I guess, like endings. But anyway, I like that guy as Peter Parker in that movie.
Yeah.
More than the other two that have played him. I don't feel that way after that.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, it never goes in the right direction after that for me.
Yeah.
And so it's sullied a little bit by its sequels.
Yeah.
But I want to say I can still sit down and
as-
watch it as a movie, but I haven't. Gone back to it in a long time.
It's probably not as bad as Star Wars, though.
What do you mean?
With Force Awakens?
No, it's not. The other two movies are still at least, kind of movies. I mean, No Way Home is very contrived.
Yeah.
But it's not convoluted in the same way.
Yeah.
It's not a bunch of stuff that makes no sense. It's just a lot of kind of cartoon logic.
And it's not super forgettable either.
I mean, there is stuff in that movie that doesn't make any sense, but not in the same way. Anyway, so yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Okay, we're gonna look at the Far From Home trailer now, and again, we'll probably blow through these a little bit more quickly.
Did you have Far From Home before in Spider-Verse?
Oh, Spider-Verse was before that.
Spider-Verse is 2018, and Far From Home is 2019.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we were doing these chronologically, so yeah, we'll look at Spider-Verse first.
Yeah.
Are you
and
ready?
then we can do the PS4 trailer too.
Because that's
also
around the same time.
2018,
Okay,
yeah.
sure, absolutely. Thanks for helping me steer the ship here. So, into the Spider-Verse. Let's go. I hate these YouTube trailers that have to show you part of the trailer before you watch the trailer. What is the point of that? Stop it.
Seriously, Dad, walking would have been fine.
I saw this trailer 115 times in the theater.
This guy
Yeah.
comes in once a day, zip zaps up, man. Accountability.
Gosh, don't cops run red lights?
Well, yes, some do. But, not your dad.
In your universe, there's only one Spider-Man. But there's another universe. It looks and sounds like yours, but it's not. My name's Miles.
That's kind of generic.
That's kind of
In your universe, there's also only one Spider-Man. He dies, and then you become Spider-Man.
right.
Still one. And then there's more in your universe later, but they leave. I don't know.
Yeah.
Smart to get some of this comic
Yeah.
visual stuff in there. They were very smart to sell the movie on that.
Yeah.
One of the best burgers I've ever had. You have money, right?
Because that makes it look so fresh.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving.
I forgot this was a Christmas release.
saving
Oh,
one
yeah.
person. One thing I know for sure, don't do it.
Unless it got moved, but I think it was.
Do it like
Yeah.
you.
That first look at the Prowler, I was like, oh, he looks wonderful. Looks really menacing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
You gotta say I love you back.
Dad, are you serious?
It just felt like we were
You want to hear me say it?
making such pushing such envelopes with animation here.
I love you.
I swear, just like I taught you.
When did you teach me that?
I did. It's a little joke. The team building.
Hey guys,
Okay, who are you?
I'm Gwen Stacy.
How much spider people are there?
Same as the Comic-Con.
What's coming? Let's go!
I never loved that.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about the choice for that first trailer to tease the existence of other Spider-Mans beyond the older Peter Parker
Yeah.
and really focus it on Miles?
Yeah, I do like that. I don't think that is the trailer that I watched the most.
Yeah.
I think
No, it's probably not.
was there another trailer that
Oh, yeah,
was
that had...
more like
Well, yeah, because it introduced all the other Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
They had the one that was like, here's Noir, and here's...
Yeah, that's the-
well, yeah,
yeah.
because it introduced all the other Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
They had the one that was like, here's Noir, and here's
yeah, that's the
Peter
one that
Porker.
I
And,
watched
yeah.
a bunch.
but I wanted to look at that one because it was of course, our first glimpse of that. And maybe that was technically a teaser. What I really... Although, these days teasers are the length of what trailers used to be much of the time.
Yeah.
Not always, as we'll see with the Venom teaser. But what I appreciated about that, because I don't think you needed to sell it in such a way that makes it clear that Miles will be the central protagonist, to sell it to to make it accessible, to sell it to a large audience.
Yeah.
I feel like all the other Spider-Mans, just the kind of novelty of that, the gimmick of that, was part of what did sell it and got a lot of people to go see it.
Yeah.
But what it did for me and a lot of other Spider-Man fans was it said, oh, this might be more of a grounded story than you would expect.
Yeah.
Even with that trailer, it doesn't feel like too much of a cartoon.
No.
Like, it feels like you actually have a central protagonist at the center of it.
Yeah.
Because I never liked the Spider-Verse idea. So I needed Miles to be the actual protagonist of that piece.
Yeah.
And what that teaser does is it says, don't worry, there's a story here.
Yeah.
And that's shocking. That's kind of sophisticated. You'd think
Yeah.
that it would just, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like the Across the Spider-Verse trailer did.
Yeah.
And they've already hooked their meat hooks in you at that point.
Right.
So you can get away with that by the time you made another movie.
Where are we putting that?
Where are we putting that?
For me, I'm putting
It
that...
made me want to see it, and that's what really impressed me about it. And then, of course, like I said, it was very smart to get some of... It still, holds back some surprises.
Yeah.
But to get some of the visual, comic, like artistic stuff in front of you. To say this is fresh, original. We haven't seen a superhero movie that looks actually this much like a comic book before.
Yeah.
And to get the color scheme in front of you and to say this is actually taking some risks. It doesn't feel like just been there, done that for superhero or for animation.
Right.
Okay, where are you gonna put it?
I'm gonna put it under Homecoming.
Under Homecoming.
It's into.
Oh, sorry.
You said Across.
Well, we were just talking about that.
Right.
Into Across.
Into Across.
Well, nobody can see what I'm doing. Why don't you just leave me alone?
No.
Just leave me alone. Where am I gonna put that? I'm definitely putting it above Homecoming. Am I putting it above me? This is starting to feel a little bit arbitrary to me. Yeah, I did like that amazing trailer more than I thought I was going to, but I think I am going to put it above that. I've got it third right now. I don't know if that's fair, but... Harry Henry, the trailers made it seem like the alternate Spider-Men were a way bigger part of the film than it actually was. Maybe the ones after that. Interestingly, same guy, they don't give away the blonde Arian Peter versus Peter B difference They kind of conflate the two. That's true.
Yeah.
No, he's right about
Which
that.
I think
I
if
remember wondering about that when we first
Yeah.
got that teaser, especially because you've got Miles saying, in your universe,
right.
there's one Spider-Man. And I'm
Yeah.
like, because can you tell from that teaser that he dies?
Not really.
Because don't you
See,
get the
what I
funeral
would-
in the second one?
Yeah. See, what I would do is I would make that first teaser Spider-Man dies, and then he has to go into the universe. Like that's what I would make. I would kind of also put a lot of what they did to make him like obviously the main character, but I want it. I would definitely make the first thing like, yeah, Spider-Man dies. Like that's like the first thing.
Yeah.
Like
No,
I think that
you're
could
right,
get
that-
a lot of people into it.
And then that second trailer did that.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was another one I wanted to... Oh, yeah, Brandon Martin. It's wild how this movie came out and people were really wondering why Sony would overcrowd this with the MCU movies, but then it turned out to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that too. And I think that's one of the reasons that people see it as one of, if not the best superhero movie ever made, is that... And I think that that's going too far. I've always said that. And I like Across better than Into now.
Yeah.
Sue me. Some of that is just my personal sensibility. Some of the characters they're using in that, and I like their takes on them. And I think that they have really creative, interesting rules for their multiverse. And they really won me over on doing more multiverse, which I didn't think was possible. But I was going to say, I think one of the reasons that people were so high on it and still are is it just came out of left field. Nobody expected that kind of quality storytelling from it. Nobody expected to go into that movie and feel anything. And people certainly didn't expect to, and this was the experience I had, I know other people did too, sit in the theater, watch that movie, and forget you were watching an animation.
Yeah.
I had this almost spiritual experience with it where I left the theater and I said, oh, none of these need to be animated now, and or need to be live action now. And I didn't have that looking at the trailer. I was like, okay, this looks interesting.
Yeah.
There's real potential here. It looks like they're pushing envelopes and trying stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe taking some really interesting risks.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and watch the trailer for Far From Home now.
Do you want to do that, or do you want to do the PS4 game?
Oh, that's right. You did say that because somebody asked for that.
Yeah.
And that's around the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go do that. And you just played through this recently.
I played a little bit of it. Freddie played through.
Oh, you haven't seen the whole game?
I haven't seen the whole game. I mean, I've seen the whole game because I watched Freddie play it.
So you've seen the ending and everything?
Yes. Yeah. I do remember this though.
I must have seen this trailer, but I don't remember it right off. But I don't always watch a lot of background stuff for games when they come out.
No, but this was released in the theaters.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that must be what he was talking about. Yeah, I forgot about that. God, that was a pretty game. Do you like that suit?
Yeah.
Sony seemed really proud of that suit.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's funny because Oh, crazy. That's neat. Yeah, I hardly saw that trailer. Or I'm sorry, I hardly saw that suit when I played the game because they had the 2099 suit and I love that so much that I just played with that the whole time. Robert Wild, Cap, you need to watch the Venom trailer. So, like I said, we're gonna do the Venomverse stuff right at the end.
Mm-hmm. I think that makes more sense.
I wanted to, yeah. I mean, I know that that we're doing everything else chronologically, but I just want to tack those on at the end because I wasn't even sure we were going to go ahead and do those initially, but I decided to tack them on the end. So we're just going to do all the Spider-Man stuff. Yeah, Robert, we're gonna put that at the end. Harry Henry, the Insomniac suit really works in my opinion. Yeah, something about the giant white spider I never loved.
Yeah.
It seemed a little bit like they were trying too hard and trying to reinvent the wheel, come up with yet another iconic Spider-Man
I
suit.
think it looks
and it
better
doesn't.
than it did when it came out. Like, I think looking
You've won
at
over on it.
I think
You've been won over on it a little bit.
over on it.
Yeah, I like it fine, but it doesn't read iconic to me. And I feel like they've pushed it on us too hard to try to, turn it into this big iconic thing. And maybe for some people it is, but I just don't really have that. Chewbacca's Lover, $2 super chat. Trailer made it look more generic than it was. We're talking about Spider-Verse.
Yeah, we're talking about Spider.
If we're talking about Spider-Verse, I actually agree with that.
Yeah.
With animation, it, again, looked very inventive.
Yeah.
But, or maybe he's talking about Homecoming. Is this all the way back to Homecoming? Maybe he's talking about Homecoming. Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. Jason talking about feeling nostalgia for Homecoming makes me feel old and hurts my feelings. I was an adult by that point. Well, how do you think I feel? I was basically an adult when Spider-Man came, when the Raimi movie came out. Oh, Chewbacca's Lover was talking about Spider-Verse. Okay. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about the PS4 trailer?
No.
So I don't have a lot to say about that, but it was neat that they put that in the trailer.
At the end.
I actually don't know.
Who that is.
I actually don't know. I just thought it was neat that I thought it was animated and that it was like an actual person.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, somebody will tell us, I'm sure. And I haven't played that in so long, I can't really speak to it.
Yeah.
Real well right now. I liked it. I've reviewed it. You can go find out what my opinion is. I don't know what my opinion is right now. Okay, we're gonna look at Far From Home.
Yes.
Here we go.
Finally.
It's been so long.
I don't remember this.
Home trailer is about to play, but if you haven't seen
don't care.
Avengers Endgame yet, stop watching because there's some serious spoilers about to come up. But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, enjoy the trailer. Everywhere I go, I see his face.
It's gonna be a huge trailer or a huge spoiler now, right now.
I don't think Tony would have done what he did
I.
if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was
It
gone.
just starts with a big meme.
And we've got the Iron
We got the
Spider
Iron Spider
suit right away, which
Well, no, I don't have time.
I thought I liked when we had it at the end of Homecoming, and then it kind of sucked.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how that? Yeah.
So we don't see him in it at the end of Homecoming. We just see the suit, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And everybody else hated it. They were like, happy you're an idiot. And then we have to see him in it
Yeah.
in Infinity War, and yes, it sucks.
Oh yeah, I remember that part. Yeah.
We're just talking about it.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo.
I think MJ really likes me. Probably my first solo.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man.
And it's another one of those movies that just looks a lot more important and exciting than it turns out to be. It's such a side movie.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time not just reviewing these.
You have a job to do. You're coming with us.
I was talking over that. They put the interdimensional thing in the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Where they're pretending like it's another dimension. So, how weird is it that you're in the theater, you're seeing the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie, and you're going, oh my god, they're already doing multiverse. And then it's Psych, and then the place where they really first do multiverse is the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
So weird.
You're just a funny name like Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
That line's still great.
I want to go back on my trip. The girl who went with me and tell her how I feel. MJ,
Venom Spider-Man?
No, of course not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
They used to be a lot more careful. Like I said, they used to hold stuff more to the vest. Well, MCU did.
Yeah.
This is That's the problem is it's a Sony trailer before it's an MCU trailer. Right. And I have to keep reminding myself of that.
You going to step up or not?
It is fun how much of what's in that trailer is not actually real in the movie.
Yeah.
It's in the movie, but turns out not to be real.
Hilarious.
So, a shocking amount of Favreau in that trailer.
A shocking amount of Favreau, yeah.
I
remember I forgot about that trailer until like 30 seconds in, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this.
I was so irritated that they sold that movie really hard on the classic cartoon Spider-Man theme again, which is actually orchestrally in the first movie.
Yeah.
They don't do a lot with it there either, but then they just don't ever use it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird to sell it on multiverse in the first trailer.
Yeah.
And then, now I do appreciate, it's only weird retroactively, right? Like now that we're in multiverse and that, again, it's a Spider-Man movie that gets us there.
Yeah.
But I do kind of appreciate all of the red herrings there.
Yeah, I really do wish they had more Mysterio stuff. Like, there was, like, no Mysterio stuff, and that's, like, the thing.
But they're being careful about that because they want to dupe you in the moment into thinking that maybe Mysterio isn't actually the villain of the movie when you're in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a good reveal.
Yeah.
Even though you know Mysterio has to be the villain of the movie. Like, they make you wonder about it for a minute, and that's one of the things I do really like about that movie. Yeah. Even though I'm more disappointed by it every time I see it.
Yeah.
Scott Simmons, Mysterio is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. I love the reveal that the bar is a hologram. Yeah, me too. And I enjoy the crazy sequence where Mysterio gets Peter so disoriented and then struck by a train. It's the best sequence in the movie.
Yeah, it is.
And a lot of the things I like in that movie are individual sequences and story choices kind of out of context.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't like how much of a side movie it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it feels like watching, I mean, I've talked about all this before, again, but it feels like, too much of it feels like people just making a fun summer, high school trip movie. Just their own personal summer vacation thing. And then it's almost like they're trying to lull you into a false sense of security so that you get to the end of the movie and you go, oh, wait a minute. You have this huge change in status quo with revealing Spider-Man's identity, which of course has to happen in after credit sequence. And so too much of that movie feels superfluous, even though, again, the villain is pretty good, pretty solid. Not as good as Vulture, though.
Yeah.
But anyway, how do you feel about the trailer itself?
It's okay. I mean, to me, it's nothing special. Like, I don't know, it just feels like another Sony trailer. I'd put it under the O2 teaser.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But over this... That first Spider-Man trailer past the teaser is not great, is it?
Yeah, it's not. I do really like that teaser, though.
I'm going to put it in the same place. I'm with you on that. The thing that kind of irks me about it is... I guess I don't know how else you'd cut it, but it does feel a little bit like they're begging you, and I'm saying this somewhat in hindsight after what has happened with MCU and people losing interest, but it does feel like they're trying too hard to keep you interested and say, don't worry, Endgame is not the end, and you really need to see this, it's going to be a big deal, and then you see it and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, they are playing it like an Aftermath thing, and it is that, But I don't know. So, some of this is just the personal preference where I wanted more time away from the MCU after Endgame felt like such a big resolution movie. And pardon me if that was loud. And then it feels like it's just kind of screaming, oh, no, don't worry. We're just going to keep going. And then it just feels like another day at the office. Harry Henry, almost killing one of your fellow students shouldn't be played this lightly. Yes, I absolutely agree. But again, I don't want to just sit here and review the movie again. I'm finding that very difficult today. Okay, next up is No Way Home.
Which I remember very vividly. Are we doing the teaser
I
and
pulled the teaser and the trailer for this.
I think we should do both.
You see why I did that.
Yeah, I forgot about that at first.
So, obviously, a lot more recent. This just came out not too long ago. So, we'll do these pretty lickety-split. Here we go.
Yes.
And we are already past 2 hours, so we got to get through it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at this. This is a good one. Some suggest that Parker's powers include the male spider's ability to hypnotize females.
They're still teasing us with the cartoon theme.
Can we just go sit up here all day? It is so crazy down there. Listen, I did not kill Mysterio. The drones did.
The drones that are yours.
Wouldn't have been really funny if he came up again, if Tom Holland came up again at the beginning of this trailer and was like, make sure you watch the last movie, there's gonna be big spoilers!
Yeah.
Does any part of you feel relieved about all this?
What do you mean?
Now that everybody knows you don't really have to hide or lie to people.
For the record, I never wanted to lie to you. But how do you tell someone that you're Spider-Man? Now everybody knows. But this isn't about me.
Well, you do it like Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
You go, you know how a normal person, that's how you do it.
This is hurting a lot of people. I've just been thinking about how to fix all of this.
So, Peter, what do I owe the pleasure?
I'm sorry, Bob. You sure?
The beginning of this makes it feel like a movie that is going to be more sober and take itself a lot more seriously than the movie we actually got.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
When Mysterio revealed my identity, my entire life got screwed up.
Once again, I like this tonally a lot more than what we actually got.
Never did.
His black costume is my favorite.
That spell.
The black and red.
Yeah.
Fine. I won't. The entire world is about to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Wait, everyone? Can't some people still know?
That's not how the spell works.
So MJ's gonna forget about everything we've ever been through.
Stop tampering with the spell.
This is one of those cases where I was hoping this would work in context.
Yeah.
I was really worried about it, and it was exactly what it looks like.
Just happened?
They might as well just call the movie Everybody's Out of Character.
Oh.
Multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little. The problem is you trying to live 2 different lives. The longer you do it, the more dangerous it becomes. Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
Now, this was a big deal because a lot of us didn't realize this was the premise until we saw this teaser.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to get surprised by that, even though I was leery of it, and ultimately I feel like I was right about being leery of it.
So the problem is
Yeah.
watching that, before we find out about all the villains coming back, wouldn't it have just been cool to have a thing where Doctor Strange is the villain and he's just mad at Peter and that's just the movie?
Oh, interesting.
Like, that's what it looks like at first. And that seems cool. Like, that seems like a fun movie to me.
That's interesting. I mean, I
If
don't
they
know if you
make
could
it
make him,
work.
like, the actual villain.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to get a superhero movie that had an antagonist that is a superhero that you can't really call a villain.
Yeah.
Which is sort of what Civil War is like, even though we have Zemo.
Yeah.
So you're saying more like a Civil War.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe you could have like a villain, right?
How does Spider-Man fight Doctor Strange?
I don't know. I mean, he fought Doctor Strange in this.
Yeah, but for a whole movie,
Right.
and have him win. I don't know.
Right,
You almost have
I
to team
don't
up with some other sort of sorcerer or something.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. I'd never had that thought.
That's what it really seemed like at first, though, I feel like.
It has a similar marketing strategy with its teaser that the first Spider-Verse trailer has.
Yeah.
Which is you're selling it more on the character drama, and then you tease us with the multiverse stuff right at the end of it.
Yeah.
And that was ultimately pretty effective for
Yeah.
people, because the last thing you expect to see is that pumpkin bomb, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not just a pumpkin bomb, it's that pumpkin bomb. And of course you hear Defoe's laugh.
Yeah.
Where do you want to put it?
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Sorry guys, it's getting late. We're gonna have to rush through these a little bit faster.
I'm putting that
You sound like the smoke monster from Lost. What was that?
I'm putting that under Homecoming.
Under Homecoming.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty effective as a teaser, except the stuff that doesn't work in the movie gets in the way.
Yeah.
Because I worry it won't work, and
Right.
and it turns out that I'm right about it, so that makes me have to drop it lower.
Especially since, like, you know, it's everyone who does know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man from the movies, even though, like, Electro didn't know that he was Spider-Man, and, like,
Yeah.
some of the, like, I don't know, it just doesn't work.
But yeah, I want to just review the movie again. We are going to watch the regular trailer too. Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. We're going to go back to the last one for a second. Every version of Mysterio pretends to be a good guy before Peter finds out he's evil. Going back to Ditko, it was predictable and not even original. Well, it had been a while since I'd read that, so I had kind of forgotten that. But also, I mean, you're sort of, with that sort of logic though, with respect, Chewbacca's Lover, you're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't place. Because, I mean, don't you appreciate that they actually looked at the source material? Like,
Right.
it's a tough, tight walk to walk, where you don't want to be exactly the story that fans have seen before, so that they can be surprised. But if you deviate too far from that, then fans are disappointed if you don't make especially if you don't make something that is as interesting or better.
Right.
And so I like starting from a place of familiarity and then going your own way, which is what that movie does with Mysterio.
Yeah.
And Mysterio is not the problem with that movie.
Yeah.
Robert Wild, I'm still foolishly hoping we get back to basics, grounded Tom Holland Spider-Man movie before we do more live-action multiverse stuff with Spider-Man. Yeah, and if that happens, I can, I guess, be won back over, and I'll appreciate that, and maybe we can kind of start from scratch again, or start fresh a little bit. Where I'm at right now, I'm not holding my breath, and I don't care yet, and I'm sort of done, really, with MCU in general at the moment, but I'm hoping to be won back around with some of that stuff. But Brandon Martin, I love that Alfred Molina leaked that he was in the movie. I'd forgotten about that. Scott Simmons, I wish this film had been Craven leading a Sinister Six to track down Peter Parker for the death of Mysterio. That would have been a smart move, given that it is MCU Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 3 was supposed to be Sinister Six, and people had been kind of waiting for that, and we had introduced characters that you want to see in a Sinister Six, and then they sidetrack all of that stuff to do admittedly, it was very successful, but a gimmicky movie based on what was supposed to be just an after-credit scene.
Yeah.
And they rushed that plot real hard, and you could tell. But let's go ahead and watch the other one real quick. Yeah. Are you okay? It's getting real late.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You gonna make it?
Yeah.
I should have known when it gone this late. Avenge me! Oh, no.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
Well, that 1 week had him fighting Mysterio.
Botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget
That wasn't really a normal week.
Yeah.
Maybe for him.
we started getting some visitors. From every universe.
Yeah, kind of just 2.
Well, that's what I hate about that, is it should have been so much more creative about it, if that's the idea.
I'm sorry, what was your name again? Dr. Otto Octavian. Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, Paul, this is kind of your mess. I know a couple matches.
And of course, that's not the take that was in the movie,
Please.
because they used the S word,
Scooby-Doo this crap.
but they had to shoot it multiple ways so they could put it in the trailer, because it's clearly a trailer fodder line.
What do you mean?
They'll all die. Find Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Oh, gee, I'm so surprised that happened. Is it time to finally get a Spider-Man movie that's just called Spider-Man on a Train?
Yeah.
You're struggling. Have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
Smart to get some Defoe dialogue in there,
Yeah.
because that's one of the big parts of that novelty, is just getting to hear him, you know, see him play that role again and
Yeah.
say that goofy dialogue. Too much of which is just out of that first movie, of course.
What's happening?
They're starting to come through, but I can't stop them. December 17th, exclusively in
Don't-
movie theaters. Tickets.
Don't worry, though, because when that happens, it won't be anything like as interesting as it looks like it should be.
Yeah.
Or feel like the stakes are, you know, as big as they ought to be. It still feels like a movie you can take more seriously than I was able to.
Yeah.
The most notable thing about that, of course, is that they kept the other Spider-Mans under their vest.
Yeah.
Do you like that they did that?
Yeah, I actually forgot that they did that. I thought they actually did that.
No.
Like, I completely forgot about that.
Now, they tried to keep it under their hats. It was pretty clear to most of us that they were going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
There was still a part of me when I saw it opening night that was a little on the fence, wondering if maybe it was untrue. But the leaked interviews and things that people were saying, and like pictures from interviews with all 3 of them that people were saying were doctored and photoshopped, and then it turned out that they were totally real, and we saw those interviews immediately after the release of that. I don't have a lot to say about that trailer. It is yet another just kind of typical modern trailer.
Yeah.
That's showing you more of those villains and giving you the too cool for school stuff that I really resist with MCU.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, isn't all this comic book stuff silly?
Yeah.
I've never liked that. Anyway, where do you want to put that one? I feel like I have to put the teaser above it.
I'm gonna put it right under the teaser.
Right under the teaser?
Yeah.
Okay. I will put it in the same place. We're pretty well in agreement here. Let me read the super chat. Thank you guys for all the support tonight. Really appreciate it. Chewbacca's Lovers, $10 super chat. I know it's not really a good movie, but I loved all the nostalgia stuff, at least with Green Goblin. I love that they let him go as over the top as he did without making fun of him. Yeah, I didn't think that performance worked at all. And I felt like, and I know people don't agree with me on this, but this is still where I'm at. And I haven't watched it since the theater. But what I remember thinking about it is that Defoe seemed kind of lost, and like it was just weird to be back in that role, and he wasn't totally sure what they were making, and I don't know. Again, it just felt like a symptom of the whole thing being thrown together. I get the novelty of getting to see him play it again, but a lot of the reason it didn't play for me also is, and I was going to say this about that trailer. Once again, feels darker, feels more serious than the movie ends up being, and a lot of that is because like that trailer opens with Peter looking like somebody died and he probably is responsible for it, which is all I've been waiting for to finally happen with that character. That's so important to Spider-Man's character, is not just power and responsibility, but also actions and consequences. And that sometimes there's negative consequences even for doing the right thing, right? And he hasn't had enough of the Parker Luck thing by Far From Home, besides just having his identity outed. That's pretty much it, right? And when we finally do that and we get Aunt May killed, it feels so forced.
Yeah. And
having it happen because of that Green Goblin who, you know, shouldn't even really care about that Spider-Man at all, it just didn't play for me. And I didn't feel anything when she died, and I hated that. And so that also kind of hurts his performance for me, which is not fair to him, but... Jawaga's Lover, $5 Super Chat. They let Willem Dafoe give the same performance he did in 2002, but still treat him as threatening, and they don't talk about how silly he is. I mean, I guess that's a fair thing to praise it for. Like,
yeah.
They talk about how silly names are and stuff, which irritates me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of just feels like he's doing... I mean, he's going to do the voice and everything because that's how he played it before. I mean, I don't know that I want to give him a lot of credit for that. But I guess I can see where you're coming from, that it's nice that they're not making fun of it. I wouldn't expect them to, just because that's the big fan favorite thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's what everybody's there to see. Or one of the big things anyway. Well, Robert, we'll just have to agree to disagree, man. Trevor Gano, this movie is okay, and I'm glad everyone here doesn't just blindly praise it because nostalgia and pandering. Yeah, man. I mean, as always, I just call it like I see it. I get why people loved it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how well it stands the test of time, because I feel like it's already a little bit of that Rises thing where there's folks that loved it when it came out that are already not sure that it's holding up. If they go back to it, but I get why it made the money it made. It was it set a big precedent. It was the first movie to do that kind of thing. It wasn't the first thing to do it. To bring back, characters from unrelated universes, because the CW had just done that a couple years earlier with, maybe just the previous year actually, with DC with Crisis. But you get one, like it didn't work again with Flash for people, but that was for lots of other reasons as well. Okay, we are fading. It's getting pretty late, so we're gonna have to blow through the rest of this. We'll watch the Across the Spider-Verse one real quick. I don't know that we're gonna have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I think I saw this like once.
And of course, this is for a movie that we just saw this year.
Yeah. And
it's wonderful.
It's great. It would be interesting to see this after just seeing this movie.
And these trailers didn't do anything for me, man. Like, I was having a hard time mustering up excitement for it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want more multiverse.
No one my age says those words in that order.
It's just hard to see my little man and not be my little boy all the time.
Yeah.
For years I've been taking care of this little boy.
Same strategy.
Yeah.
As the other one.
Making sure he's loved. That he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be. He wants to go out into the world and do great big things.
Not bad, kid.
And what I worry about most they won't look out for you like us.
Miles!
Want to get out of here? Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from. And he never doubts.
So they're giving us a glimpse that you're going to get a ton more Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
But they're not...
He never lets anyone
I guess they're selling it more on that by the end.
tell him that he
Yeah.
doesn't belong there.
But they're still trying to telegraph it is still a character story for Miles Morales.
Yeah.
I promise.
See, I remember the teaser a lot better.
This is where it lost me, where I was just like, I don't want to do the, like, pause and try to figure out where all the Spider-Mans are from thing, and I know everybody's going to make a big deal out of all of that, and... You know, if I can just take it on its own terms and it's just me in a movie, in me and the advertising for a movie, it's whatever, but it's just thinking about the rest of the fandom, and that people are gonna, you know, throw all these, like, tidbits at me that I don't care about yet until I see the movie, you know what I mean?
See, I didn't see that trailer.
Oh.
I've never seen that trailer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw the teaser with the spot. That's it. That's all I saw.
Real quick, Bob the Hun put in a $5 super chat about the other trailer we just watched and says, I was just impressed that Dafoe talked like he did in O2. It wasn't just the voice, his dialogue was authentic. Yeah, I didn't have that. I was not surprised by that at all. But
But that's just how he talks.
that's cool if that got you excited. But you know, if that surprised you. But yeah, I mean, I figured he would find that voice again. But yeah, let's go ahead and
that one.
let's go ahead and rank this real quick.
I'm gonna put that under Into the Spider-Verse. No, I'm gonna put that over Into the Spider-Verse. I think.
And I'll put it under it. Over, under, across, through. Into. Jason is putting that... Oh, and you put Into the Spider-Verse way lower than
No,
I did.
actually, I'm
Where do you
gonna
wanna
put that above the No Way Home teaser.
Oh, okay. Cool. Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. Was MTV Spider-Man in this movie? Had to be, right? If he wasn't, he's definitely in the sequel. Guaranteed. Am I wrong? I never saw him, and I haven't heard anybody talk about that, so yeah. I don't know if he was there. But, yeah, you know, that's more effective than I remembered it being.
Yeah.
Again, I think I got too jaded about the way the fandom was reacting to it.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because, again, now that I've seen the movie, I appreciate why they sold it that way a lot more.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they almost undersold it in some ways. Like, I kind of wonder if, again, maybe this would have just been great for me, but I kind of wonder if the way to sell that better instead of, you know, kind of, and I mean, it works okay, but like the drippy emotional stuff, it might have been cool if we'd gotten a teaser that actually laid out the rules of the multiverse.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what I loved about that was the new mythology for it.
Yeah.
And to go, no, we're being really creative about this, and we have really cool thematic reasons to continue with the multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on, and we're just gonna watch. Should we just do the Venom trailers and call it a day? I mean, I guess because we were gonna do Leather Carnage and Morbius. I don't know if anybody really cares that much about doing those. We'll at least do the Venoms. We'll see if anybody really needs us to show those. But...
I didn't watch those trailers. Like, I just watched the Venom trailers.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely didn't watch. I might have seen the Morbius trailer once in the theater.
Well, we'll look at this ridiculous teaser for Venom. So a lot of people, I saw this in the theater not knowing yet what it was. And there's not a lot to make it real clear what it even is. forget that you've already seen that logo.
Right.
Oh, I guess they had the Marvel logo there.
Everyone's got their thing.
I didn't remember that. This is that teaser, right? No, this is not the teaser I remember. This is a different one.
A death.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't think this is the one that has the unfinished effects.
You used to be one thing.
I guess we'll see, but it's Sony's calling it a teaser. No, no, maybe it is.
We all have our own problems.
Anyway,
Our own issues.
it looks so generic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the unfinished shots.
Demons.
I remember that. Oh, it was preposterous. So they had that shot of all the people being thrown around and all the stuff off the tables.
Yeah.
And there's nothing there. It's because
Yeah.
in the movie, it's the big bad guy symbiote doing
Yeah.
this with his arms.
Yeah.
And of course, that's the thing everybody talks about with that. But the thing, because I didn't realize that's what we were looking at, of course, when we saw that teaser. I was just, I didn't know what I was looking at with the people flying around.
Yeah.
But you get to the end of that, and it's just a V?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what stuck with me about that, or that's what I remembered, was I
Yeah.
was like, nobody's gonna know what this is! Then it made $1 billion!
Yeah.
Or nearly.
How did that do so well? I remember everyone being super hyped about the posters.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
going to see the movie because of the posters.
yeah, what was advantageous for them was that the teaser was nothing and no one talked about it. And then when they had a trailer that actually had Venom in it,
Yeah.
then people cared and were like, oh, they're making a Venom movie. It was not like the Sonic teaser or the Ghostbusters 2016 teaser,
Yeah.
where like it just looked dreadful. It was just nobody even noticed because you can't even tell what that is.
What is that?
What is it? I don't know.
Something.
And then I remember when that came out, the people that didn't know what it was were formulating this hilarious theory that it and I never saw this, but it and the sci-fi movie that Sony put out called Life at the same time were in the same continuity. And that Life was like a backdoor origin for the symbiote or something. Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. MTV Spider-Man just seems so obvious. I don't know how he couldn't be in it. You'd think they'd bring back Neil Patrick Harris for a cameo. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't remember that. But of course they did. They did a ton of really, and I want to show you that show. They did a lot of really obscure ones, certainly. So now that you say that, I am kind of surprised if it wasn't there. Daniverse, the trailer is all Hardy. Yeah, I remember that coming out and just going, oh, that's Tom Hardy, and he's doing another weird voice.
Yeah.
I had heard nothing about what, I knew Venom was coming, but I'd heard nothing about what was even, I think I might have seen that teaser before I even knew Hardy got cast, or maybe I knew it was cast, but it didn't occur to me that what I was looking at was Venom.
Yeah.
It took a bit. And then I remember having an inkling that maybe that's what it was with the goo.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't totally sure. Okay, we're already at 2.5 hours. We've got to wrap up shop here, Jason. Do you want to watch one more?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the full Venom trailer?
Yeah, I want to
and just end it there.
Just end it there, cause.
And not bother with Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, who cares?
Okay.
I
Here
didn't
we
even
go.
see that trailer. I just watched that movie and then regretted it.
Me too. We saw it one time.
Thank you for bringing us collectively to this moment.
I actually did like this movie though, even though it was bad. It was just fun.
Claiming history.
It was a guilty pleasure for me the first couple times I saw it, and more I found myself kind of turning on it.
Really?
Yeah. But like Let There Be Carnage didn't help.
No.
I think the music in this trailer is really effective.
Yeah.
I told you one of my
I liked some of the reporter stuff we did with Brock, even though we're trying too hard to make him like an actual hero. You know, we're doing the flawed anti-hero sort of hero thing.
Yeah.
But it does help that he's based on a character that kind of sucks in the first place. At least initially, he's been better in more recent stuff. But why do we pronounce it like that? Symbiotes.
Why do you call it that? You should call it, you know, symbiote. We call it symbiotes.
Eddie. I will say I could not tell from the trailers or in the theater that Venom was actually Tom Hardy's voice. And it looks like it's going to have as little fun as it does with the symbiote.
Yeah.
But I did like that voice.
Yeah.
From the trailer. Embrace it, Jayson.
Your inner symbiote.
Oh, anti-hero. We just got to put it on the screen. Okay.
Oh yeah, and there was the actual effect.
There you see the actual effect, yeah. Why would you bother putting it in a teaser? It's bizarre. And it sucks because he doesn't say that in the movie.
He doesn't?
No, if memory serves, somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I think that's in the trailer, but they left it out of the movie. That you don't actually get We Are Venom.
Oh.
Bob the Hunt, $2 super chat. It made $1 billion. People loved it. And I know there are fewer quagmires, like larger quagmires in the history of superhero movies, except for people's love for Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's that and it's Ragnarok for me. Done Ranger Power. To me, Tom Hardy will always be known as Praetor Shinzon and Nemesis. Yeah, well, he doesn't think about that anymore because that was a bad experience for Tom Hardy. Folks, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Especially because now I'm getting crap from YouTube for showing trailers apparently. So we're gonna go ahead and end off here. Hopefully this video doesn't get blocked tomorrow. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will, I'm sure, do another one of these down the road.
Yeah, I want to do Superman.
You want to do Superman?
I want to do Superman.
That'll be shorter.
It will be shorter.
Well, we have to do BVS again because we already did BVS as Superman in the title.
I guess it does, doesn't it?
Thanks again for being here if you're watching live. Thanks for watching this after the fact if you did that, and we really appreciate all of the support tonight from Super Chatters. You guys are wonderful. I will be back again tomorrow night for the Captain Logan show, and also we'll be doing a Superhero Rewind commentary for the Commentary Project on Friday. Kareem is going to fill in for Austin, and we're going to be watching the very violent direct-to-video animated DC movie from 2015. It is Justice League Gods and Monsters. Gods and Monsters. Join us at 9 o'clock for that. And as always, I want to say thanks to all of our patrons, particularly our Patreon producers. And if you'd like to become a Superhero Rewind producer, you go to patreon.com/geekvolution. The $10 tier makes that possible. But of course, $15 patrons are also roped into that as well. That's for the request. At $10, you get in the Superhero Rewind Discord. You get to hang out with me and everybody there once a month and help us choose sometimes stuff for commentary and other cool bonuses like that. And one of those bonuses is I will read your name very dramatically at the end of every Superhero Rewind video, including this one. So thanks a lot to One Reply, Bill Mills, Chewbacca's lover. Oh, once again, Chewbacca's lover. Dr. Hello, Elliot Slater, Hayden Spring, Ironic Pinball, Joe Turner, Joe Gira, Matt Bat 68, Michael Martin, Stone Gasman, Super Billy, Adam March, Damon Begay, Hot Soup, Jacob Schneider, Jonathan Campbell, Justin Hayes, Kareem Roberts, Matthew Brody, Michael Austin Gulick, Miguel Rodriguez, The Day Ghost, Unknown Passenger, Wendell Jones, and, as always, Zach. You guys are, once again, awesome. Robert said his super chat never went through. Sorry about that, Robert. But thanks for trying to send it. And hopefully I didn't miss any super chats. If I did, because we had a lot that popped in. We just got another one. I will read that here in a second. If we didn't get to yours, send it to me by email or on Discord if you're in the Discord, and I will make sure and read it on the Captain Logan Show. Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. I initially liked how cartoony the Venom voice was, like it could be in the animated series or video game. And then Dan pointed out he sounds like Cookie Monster. Yeah, it's as silly as the Bane voice, but I still kind of like it. I think that can get away with being sillier.
Yeah, that I didn't realize he pointed out that he sounded like Cookie Monster. That ruined that for me.
C is for Cookie. Like if Cookie Monster was trying to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Really, That's good enough for me. Apologize. And Daniverse said the stream died. I don't know what that means. It looks like we're still going. Well, anyway, I guess we will go ahead and say goodbye, say farewell. Thanks a lot for being here, folks, and we'll see you again next time. I was Captain Logan. This was Jayson.
Yep.
Jayson, sorry I went so late.
No, it's fine.
But thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.